Hey guys, it's Jack Technical P, and today I really just found myself getting really bored. I'm not doing anything, I'm really just sitting at home, not really doing much. I got really bored, honestly, I just don't know what to do today. And so I was thinking, I've seen these chill streams pop up, like I feel like I've done a couple of chill streams before. Usually I have a game playing in the background, and I would actually be playing a game right now on my Xbox. However, for some reason the cord I'm using for my controller is it's an older cord, so it's like whenever it's an Android charger. So think of a phone charger where the part goes into the phone and then where the cord connects and it gets like super loose. That's what's happening right now. Basically, the cord works fine for gaming. The controller's actually just gotten a little bit of drift now, so that's a problem with it. However, the headset just I tried live streaming Dead by Daylight the other day, and what came through was just a static mess. Only when I moved the cord too, so I ended up getting nothing accomplished, and I kind of felt like shit for it because I actually was really in the mood to stream, but I couldn't, so nothing came of that. So I think I'm just gonna do a chill stream. However, I'm gonna literally be probably doing a few things just in the background. Like I might even play a game while talking to y'all. I don't want that to be the main focus of the stream. I want this to just be a chill stream where I chat, talk, and do other stuff. I have a drawing book sitting here. I might draw a little bit. I also have a drawing app on my computer as well. I can pull up. I don't want that to be the focus. However, I can switch it depending on what anyone, if anyone even shows up, would like to see. Uh, like I said, I'm doing this out of boredom, so I don't really know what to expect. Probably not a lot, but hey, we're here. So, uh, yeah, I'm gonna make sure chat is visible because the way I have this set up in my OBS, everything is. So, whenever I put something into OBS, it's like, do you know what layers are? If you look at something like, okay, so drawing app, I mentioned I have that on here. So if you have a drawing, let's say you have a background drawing of like what you're trying to trace. Let's say you draw like a little bit of an outline of a character and then you want to trace over it. Like it's like drawing in a sketchbook in pencil and then doing it again in pen. That's a good example. So the second layer would be in pen. Well, so there would be an order of which that goes. So you went pencil, then pen. Well, on OBS it's like a list. So at the bottom I have the map I have for the D&D streams, which I can pull up now. Bam, I can make that appear right now if I wanted to. The chat box, which should be right there. No, there. It would be right here. And then my alert box, that never really gets used often, is right here. So, let me double check that that's accurate. It's literally, nope, no, this way. It's literally right here. Yeah, and the chat box is right. I did it again, right here. Gotta remember it's my left side. So, yeah, that's so in order it would be, it doesn't matter for alert box and did it again, alert box and chat box. I'm learning. Alert box and chat box are right here, but in the list it goes alert box, chat box. They're not overlapping each other, so it wouldn't matter. The map and then the camera. But if I have the map over the camera, then it would be, or if I have the camera over the chat box and alert box, sure, you'd still be able to hear the alert box, but you wouldn't see what's popping up. So if it said someone just followed, you wouldn't even be able to see it because the camera's in the way, or everything you see on screen now is in the way. Because I can even modify how big this camera thing is. Like I can make it go whoop and shrink it. Oh, what did I just shrink? Oh, I shrunk the map. Okay, click the camera, get the outlines of that, and I can go whoop. Now I can just modify how big it is. Right now I have it stretched to fill the screen, but I can make it bigger or smaller. I can even move it around. Just however I want to. I don't know why I just went on a little OBS rant. It's not even a rant, it's just like a little bit of like knowledge. Like I said, I'm bored. I don't know why I'm doing this stream. I'm just don't really know what else to be doing right now, so I got nothing better to do. Let's see, what else can I talk about real quick? Oh, this. Yeah, this right there, that red dot. That was a pimple at one point. It then turned into an infected cut because I tried popping it using a knife, the knife tip, and the knife turns out it wasn't like super dirty, like it wasn't dingy. I just didn't I must have had something on it, and it got infected. So that wasn't fun. I had to wear a couple bandages for a couple days. I and then I was an idiot and picked the scab, and there was some weird gray ooze underneath it. I had my girlfriend Misty. She was helping me trying to get the band-aid off because I didn't want to rip it off because it really hurt when it was on that spot. And I figured out why it hurt. If you've ever been, there's a subreddit called "It Feels Good Coming Out." It would this. I mean, it didn't feel good coming out, but afterwards it was an instant relief. There was okay, so she ripped the band-aid off, right? And I thought, okay, it would just pull off maybe the top of the scab at most. Well, sitting there is like a full centimeter size, just like gray ball ooze. It looks like I don't know. I don't want to make a comparison. I have one in mind, but that's just gross. Um, like just a centimeter big chunk, and it came out. There was a hole just in my head, and I was like really confused because I didn't think it went back that far. But yeah, it ended up coming out. That ended up making it feel a lot better because that was all infection. If that wasn't very obvious, nothing in your body. I don't think it's supposed to be gray, but or yellowish. But once that all came out, I ended up me cleaning it out with a little bit of alcohol and stuff, some Q-tips, and we ended up patching that up. And the only reason there's not a band-aid on it, right? The only reason there's not a band-aid on it right now, sorry about that stutter and ramble or whatever that was, is because it's basically scarred back up. It's good. There's nothing under it. There's no hole anymore. It's to the point where it can just not have much worry about it. Let's see, what else is there? There's a couple of things I could probably do here. Let me look at what I can do on here because I got my Xbox right here. I'm just gonna see if there's anything I could do on it real quick. There's something I could have done earlier, actually. The fact that I have the controller right here that I was mentioning the cord on, I could have literally showed the parts I was talking about instead of going, I don't know why I didn't do that. But hey, whatever works. I also have a light set up like right. I don't want to turn the camera because there's like a whole bunch of because of the way I have the laptop set up. I don't want to move it around too much. I like where it's at. This one I can't just pick up and show you, but it's like a little desk lamp that clamps to the side of the stuff, and you can turn the back on, and it just has a really bright light. I have to keep it turned away from me, otherwise it's just shining into my eyes and makes it really hard to see things. What does it look like on camera if I have it turned toward me, though? It's not even aiming at the camera, and it's like blinding. Yeah, just make shadows. Yeah, keep it turned over there. That works. I'm visible. We don't exactly have ceiling lights anywhere, so it's fun. We gotta just stick with the good old lamps and desk lamps. Okay, but here, back to what I was doing now. I'm gonna see if there's anything I could do. Because I want to play games like Amnesia and stuff on stream, because I have the what I think is the full Amnesia collection. It's called the Amnesia Collection. I want to play games like that on stream, because, that's content, I guess. But the problem is, again, the microphone issue. I'm not able to be heard, and there's no point in just doing, and I know some game or channels do videos that just don't have commentary. I don't really want to do that. If I'm making a video, I'm making it for fun. I'm not just saying I want to just be in it. I'm just saying I want to be able to provide things like commentary in something. That's how I get the enjoyment out of it for me personally. Most of the time. There's also videos on my channel that are just me running around. If you've seen it, I think I called it the greatest thing on the channel at the time. It's literally the name of the video, where I just run around with a glass sword in Skyrim with Tobuscus music playing. I think that was that time. Usually around that I don't provide commentary. I think I know what I'll do. There's a game I need to grind real quick. 2 games we're grinding right now with my friends. One of them is Trove, if any of you ever played that. I might have an old video of me playing it on the channel. And then there's Roblox, which I don't play consistently, but I don't play any other games besides the 2 that I know of. And one of them, it's just a Dragon Ball game. And the only reason I play it is because there's a few things I feel like it can do better than other ones. I like the way the open world's done in it, and I really like the fact that some of the character races you can play as have actual transformations, unlike Xenoverse, which just goes, hey, you get Super Saiyan, and then as a Majin, I think you shrink. That's about it. Freezes get golden. I don't know if Freezer races get golden there, but they get something, and then other ones get absolutely nothing. So, but then this one manages to do things like Namekians having giant form Namekian. A lot of fan games include ones that aren't like actual ones. That one kind of bothers me a little bit. It also bothers me the fact that they go ahead and make Kid Buu stronger than Super Buu. They always make that transformation after. Just because it happens chronologically after does not make it stronger in any way. I haven't ever met anyone who like religiously just says Kid Buu's stronger than Super Buu, but it's not accurate at all. Okay, like I'm not gonna go in the explanation here. It should just be pretty obvious. Like I'm not trashing you if that's what you think. By the way, like if any of you think that, I'm just saying, ugh, it's not how. Like if you think logically on it, it's clearly the one with people making him stronger is stronger than the other one. You know what I mean? But yeah. Huh. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind that Dragon Ball game real quick while I'm just sitting here talking and vibing because I need to. I don't need to get anything on it right now. I think the only thing we're trying to get is I'm trying to grind up enough Zenny to get some. There's a Dragon Radar that you can buy for an insane amount of Zenny because Zenny's not given really well in this game. So it's an egregious grinding method. I think you can if you beat the hardest boss in the entire game, you get like 1/6 of the radar. Yeah, so 1/6. I did the math in my head real quick. That's why I looked at the camera weird for a second, but because I was counting my fingers down here. But here I'm loaded in. It's just I don't really agree with something like. You know, I also want to try doing a stream like this without just going straight into like D&D chatting, because I always eventually down the pipeline of streams, and this is probably where it starts. Like I think I just started opening up the Pandora's box today of now we're gonna talk about fucking D&D the entire time, but that's something I always end up doing eventually is just going straight into D&D and talking a lot about it. Sure, I like talking about it, but at the same time, that's not all I want to do. And no one's like, hey, we want to see more. That's not it. It's just I do it naturally, and I feel that's annoying. I just feel like it's annoying to some people who don't want to see something like that or that kind of content all the time or something, or at all even. And it's just something I don't want to end up doing. So that's what I'm going to try and do today. Talk about D&D starting after I finish the sentence at the minimal, like, the least as possible. Maybe not even saying it at all until someone literally comes in and says, hey, that's what I want to hear about. I want to try and think of the stuff that's actually interesting. I mean, it's interesting, I feel, but just I don't want to just make that the whole focus of it. This is just supposed to be like a chill stream and I talk and chat about things. Oh, I realized game volume, you guys can hear it, and that's going to sound really annoying coming through. Wait, maybe not. I don't think it's too loud. I don't even think it's picking up my microphone from over here because I'm decent far away from the TV. But, yeah. I'm trying to, like, figure out things like, a lot of the mechanics are weird in this because it's not like it's polished to the point where it works. It's after that point, it's not very, because there's so much to do in the game. There's not a lot of things they can focus on. So, or there's so much they can focus on. They don't focus on the little things too much. So like, if it's not related to a quest in this, it's bland. There's nothing to do. There's nothing there. There might be a rock, like for some scenery occasionally, or a tree, but that's about it. I think some of the Dragon Balls can also spawn in those trees, but that doesn't make the tree itself special. It just means, hey, we gotta stop here and then never think about it again. So, I don't know. Like, it's just... And the world, like, it's open world, but it's... The only reason I feel like it's open world is because it would look wonky if it wasn't. And then... There's no, like... I hope what I'm saying is, like, coming off as understandable at this point, because I feel like I'm just... I'm not the best at this, but I'm trying to be. Or, no. I'm trying to be better at it. I'm not trying to be the fucking best. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. It's just awkward, if anything, honestly. sense that from here. But yep. I'm going to switch over to Trove here in a few minutes too. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I need to get in for today. I also think I need to log into Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight's a good one. Recently, anyways. They had a major drop-off point for a bit. However, I think the most recent character they announced for it was the Samara from The Ring. So that's pretty neat. Excited to see how she ends up operating. Me and Misty watched a couple of her, like, obviously, like, movies. I think it was originally a book, though, and I don't think we've really seen any of the Japanese stuff, which is what it's really from. In fact, that's what Dead by Daylight's pulling her from, too. Like, the original Japanese source material, and I kind of want to see what that's about, because, well, obviously, one, I'm going to be buying the character. I have every licensed character in the game, but two, I want to know more about, like, the source material for certain characters, you know? Especially ones that have, like, what, 8 movies now? I know there's a shit ton for The Ring. There's even one where they fight the Grudge, and I know that one is in Japanese, and we did actually watch that one because we were watching the Grudge too. But we haven't seen any of the ones, like, that are straight up. If they, like, I don't know if they even have them. Like, I don't know. I don't know at this point. But, yeah. Oh, another thing I'm really worried about the microphone picking up, because I feel like it definitely is picking these up. Hold on, let me stop talking for a second and see if it is. Okay, I'm trying to see if the microphone's picking up, either background noise from just in the house in general, and also the fact that I'm clicking buttons. Because, especially the buttons, because I literally just spam X and Y the entire time I'm playing this game, and my friends talk about it all the time when I'm on Discord. So that's a little bit annoying, and I don't want that at all being in the thing. Like, it's loud. Like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I usually can tone it out because usually I'll have something like headphones on, or I'm talking to friends and I'm not focused on what I'm doing with the buttons I'm pressing. But like, I don't know how loud me doing. I mean, I don't usually press that fast, but I don't know how loud these buttons are acting up on camera and stuff and on video. It'll be fine though for now. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a problem. Oh, and another reason I'm not streaming on my actual Xbox instead of, like, it's because I have a really bad controller drift right now. On Friday, I think I'm going to pick up a new controller, but it's yet to be seen at this point. I don't know, I hope to. It's not the worst amount of controller drift. Like, my mom especially keeps saying, oh, we're going to get that new controller on the 1st, and I'm like, okay, I do want that. Like, it is, controller drift in any game is terrible. However, I've also been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering recently, and I have a deck that is almost literally completely finished besides 3 cards. 1 card just got announced, like, last week from the new set coming out that I need, and it's the Planeswalker for Black-Blue, but if you know anything about that game. But 2 of the cards, I don't know how much that Planeswalker is going to be, so I'm not factoring that into this analogy. This is just the 2 I already was picking up before that. The 2 cards I need, one of them is called Heuristic Study, which is a very popular card in the form in Commander, so that's what I'm playing. The format I'm playing specifically. It's just a very popular card in the game, and it's about $30 at the shop right now that we have in our town, or if I order it offline, whichever one I do. If the shop doesn't have the other one, I'm just going to combo them for cheaper shipping. But the other one is Bruvac the Grand Delinquent, which, that one, I know you could just Google it, but I'm just going to say it here real quick to give a summary. It basically says opponents will mill double. Milling is where you basically will take the top cards of your deck and you put them in your library. Or no, the deck and library mean the same thing. I just said a deck just in case there's anyone who doesn't play Magic in the chat. You take the top cards off your deck, what you would be drawing on your turn, instead just put them into your discard pile or graveyard. So instead of you doing that twice, or doing that just the normal amount the cards tell you to do, so like mill 1, so you take 1, put it there. You would do double, so you mill 2. So the card in my deck that says opponents mill half their library, so take half the deck, put it in the graveyard, instead make them do the whole thing, which the result of them doing that makes them lose the game, because in Magic, if you can't draw anything at the start of your turn, you just lose the game immediately. Well, there's one card that says if you can't draw anything, or I think there might be a couple, to where you just win instead, and that's actually a tactic some players do, but that's not what I'm going for. And oh, and I never explained heuristic study. It literally just means if your opponents do anything, if they don't pay one extra, the resource they have to use to play cards, if they don't do that, one more of those when they do it, you get to draw a card. It's just that simple, but it helps in the long run. Specifically with me, because I have really, really bad luck on actually getting anything. Like, it's not easy. So yeah, I'm going to be picking up those two. But here's the thing. New Xbox controller, $30 to $50. Like, the one I'm holding is, I think it's probably one of the $50 ones. I got it with the Xbox. I wouldn't know. I didn't pay for it separately, because I don't really agree with paying $50 for a controller. I'd rather just buy a cheaper brand one for $30, and I'd just be happy. Sure, it might not last as long, but it's... yeah. I just have mixed feelings on the whole thing. No, I don't think I have mixed feelings. I don't feel like that's a controversial opinion at all. I feel like anyone would pay cheaper for a cheaper controller if they could. Like, I don't see why... I mean, I can see why maybe the hardware and internal stuff has to be $50, but if there's a cheaper option, I always try and go for it, is what I'm trying to say here. Anyways, my mom's trying to get me to do a $50 controller, so because she thinks the cheaper ones are just going to break quicker, which some can. Yes, I know that very well. However, I usually don't. Like, I'm not aggressive with my controllers. The only times I think I am is when I'm trying to wiggle off a killer in Dead by Daylight, because you actually gotta, like... And even then, like... I don't know. I'm not gonna be hard on it. That's why I'm not worried about it. The cards... Why I bring this all up. One of the cards is 20, one of the cards is 30. Altogether, that makes 50. So, I've been waiting, like, 3 months to pick up the cards, and then about 2 months in, my controller starts drifting. So now I either can do... at the beginning of the month, and she's helping me with this, by the way. I could just give it myself. I'm 19, but here's the thing. She's helping me with it. So I could either do the controller first, or I could do the cards first. I don't know which one I'm going to do. Probably the controller, honestly, at this point, because what have we got in the meantime for Magic? I just got what's called proxies. It's where you just, instead of, using the $30 card that I don't have, I just put a little piece of paper and, notebook paper with the cards, effects, and cost and name and stuff in the sleeve. It works just as well. And if anyone doesn't like me using the proxies, underneath the proxies, and this is not used in tournaments, by the way, I'm using this in like home games, and we're all cool with it because it's literally 2 cards. It's really funny because I literally have another card that's $80 in the same deck, and I didn't get that. My cousin did. My cousin Casey got that for me. And I'm very thankful for that. He got it for me because it's part of an infinite combo that it's the same thing and makes opponents mill twice. I wasn't trying to make it a mill deck, by the way. I want to make that very clear. I know those are very much hated by people that go against them, but Casey really, really pushed it. Well, I mean, one, he gave me an $80 card that I'm definitely going to use if I can, and I did, and I have the pieces for, but I was not trying to make it that kind of deck, but it ended up turning into that one. Well, for four out of the 100 cards. 2 of them are one infinite, 2 are another infinite. That's not so bad. My preferred method of winning is... My commander is Xanathar. It's a card that basically says, hey, at the start of your turn, your opponents can't do anything. You lock them out of playing, because in Magic, some opponents can do things during your turns by playing cards called instants. Or they'll have other effects that might trigger. Well, Xanathar doesn't stop other effects that trigger, he stops them from playing anything new that might influence your turn. So, like countering your spells. So if you play something like a new creature, they can counter it. Not if Xanathar's out. He says they literally can't play spells on your turn. However, if they have like an enchantment already out that says you can only play 1 creature per turn, you gotta follow that rule because it was out before Xanathar. Even if they play it on their turn, Xanathar can't counter it after he's been out. Anyways, the idea is to take stuff off the top of their deck, play their own stuff against them, and kill them with that. I also have another combo with Heuristic Study, and it's a card called Triskaidekaphile, and it says if you have 13 cards at the start of your turn in your hand, you just immediately win. So, by them not paying the 1 extra, and it's optional, by the way, they can't just make you draw to 14 and then stay happy. You can actually, it's optional to even ask if you want to trigger them to make you draw a card. So, basically the combo idea is if they don't have enough to pay the one, I get to 13 cards, or I have another way to get to 13 cards because the creature even has a way to draw cards, and then I just win the game because they get me to 13. That's like a slow play kind of thing. That's not competitive at all. The infinites are barely competitive either. I can't actually remember the last time I drew both of them in any of the games. By the way, this is games that have gone on like 13 turns, and I didn't have them at all. Actually, I had one game where we opened up, but I was playing with my friend Isaac and my friend Tucker. We were at the local shop, and someone came up, and Isaac knew him, and Isaac let him use his new deck that was like it had a decent amount of money. They put a lot of money into their decks. The underneath that $80 card Casey gave me, the most expensive card I have in that deck is probably $10, and I don't have a lot of those. I don't have like 30 of those. Every card in there is probably $2 or under. That's why I'm so thankful Casey did that. Like he just randomly showed up and was like, "Hey, I think this combo would be nice in it here," and I was like, "Oh, okay." But and then and also wait, real quick side tangent. We went back like to the card shop the next like 2 days after while he was in town, and we ended up finding that same card for $7. We think they mislabeled it, but it was still really funny because he didn't buy it from the same binder. But anyway, so this guy Isaac knows walks up to the table, and Isaac let him use that deck because he had two of them on him, and the guy didn't have one. And the guy, it turns out, has been playing since literally my birth year, 2002, he said. So he was like, "Yeah, I've been playing for a long time. I know what I'm doing." And and I had the infinite in my hand. I had it ready to go. Turn 4, I literally would have won, or turn 5. No, it might have been turn 4. It was turn 4, I think, because I had Soul Ring out. I don't know. Anyways, but by him doing that, I ended up getting locked out of it, and I was super fucking sad. I was like, oh, because I can't remember the last time I got it to work. The only time I've gotten infinites to really like work, and I don't like using infinites, by the way. It's just we play like 10 games each a night, and the infinites are basically my only way of winning because I'm not going to win due to commander damage, and I'm not going to win due to combat damage. And like I said, my friend Isaac has like hundreds of dollars put into his decks. But the only time, and I have Vorpal Sword too in it, which is just if a creature hits you with this, and if you pay 8 mana, you just kill the person immediately. But the only other time like I've gotten infinites, I think I have gotten the infinites in that deck to pop off. It's just they're never memorable. Like I don't. It was either way too quick, or it just was the game lasted so long it didn't even feel that good because it was just super boring. But one of the infinites I do remember using wasn't an accident. I just didn't know what I was doing when I was playing, and no one corrected me. We had a table of like 8 people who all didn't play the game casually, so they either didn't care or didn't know, because we were all like learning or just like I said casually. So I didn't know we couldn't have cards that weren't in our commander's color identity. So I ended up playing Infinite Elves, which is it's Midnight Gond. It's a white and green combo, and the deck was green, red, blue, and I had a white card in there. That was the only card that was not in the color identity too. But I didn't know that was an okay at the time. We were starting out. I had that in for months, and I didn't even know about it. And I popped it off a couple times too, never successfully, except for I think no, not really successfully. However, I had someone pull it off. I think I did one time, and then Tucker ended up copying it and then doubling it because Tucker, oof. Good guy, but he will drag out games, even casual ones, just if he thinks there's a chance of one upping, just to make sure he gets that like. Oof. He won't go down easy. That's the thing. That's also a good quality, but it's a little annoying to go against. I'm not calling him annoying at all. I'm just saying because they do work sometimes. It's just oof. Even when he doesn't have a chance, sometimes he'll do it too, and that's when it gets a little annoying because it's like, dude, just back down already. It just let it happen so we can start a new game. But nah. I'm gonna switch over to Trove finally. Been just flying around on Roblox and haven't been really getting anywhere. See what's going on Trove. They got a new class called Bard. I've been thinking about trying it out. I've never really been into bards like in D&D. I never played a bard. I haven't really done any like research into the class in general or any backstory on it all. I know you play music and it boosts other people. You're a very good support. That's what bards do. So if you're a bard player, thank you for your service. But other than that, I don't know much about it. I just know music makes something happen, and that's a class. So I know you can do spells mainly with it in D&D, which I'm not trying to make this a D&D chat. This is about Trove. Trove is just an RPG game that has classes similar to D&D. That's why I brought it up. But uh, I don't know what it does in Trove. I'm assuming it does buffs. Like, I play Chloromancer occasionally, which is a class that heals people and does damage as well. So I'm assuming the Bard does very similar, or acts very similar in this. I usually play Pirate Captain. Like, I used to be, apparently, because I've been playing a few years, I used to get messages saying, like, and I got, like, daily login rewards based upon it, because I was apparently one of the highest ranked pirate captains in the Xbox, just, like, community of Trove in general, which, considering Trove is a game literally anyone can download as long as they have a gold membership and they can play it, that felt pretty good, actually, because I know it probably has a lot of players due to that. So I was running around as just like a level 30 pirate captain until they just released a new update, like, that adds even higher level than 30, or not really higher level than 30, it just lets you level up into something else past 30, which I'm a little bit annoyed with, because I don't know, I just like being top of the top for a bit. Plus my power rank just ran over 2k, if you know what power rank is. Or not 2k, Jesus, I'm not level 30 with the 2k power rank. Basic beginners have a 2k power rank for any class. I mean 20k is what I meant to say. I just got it over that for the first time, so it's actually 20,000 and I think 46, so like it's right there. I just decided to get a couple of little gems, make them not shadow rank anymore. For those of you who don't play Trove, I just realized, there's still people who don't out there, and that probably all just sounded like random bullshit. The score ranking that lets me into certain worlds, like if you're too weak, you physically cannot enter certain areas of the game. Eventually, after you go past a certain point, it doesn't matter. It just keeps going up anyways, and then there's nothing past that anyways. But the score rank that lets you into certain areas, it's like a ticket in. I reach double the maximum amount you need for anything good, and it just makes me happy a little bit. I don't know. Like, that number technically actually doesn't mean anything at all. The actual statistics you need are, like, how much damage you do, how fast you can go. Jumping is literally a statistic in this game. How many times you can jump before you have to hit the ground again and go again. I think I'm at, like, I'm actually going to check, because, like, we have a joke in our friend group that whoever has the most jumps, or they're not just, like, it's just a really good thing to have a shit ton of jumps. I have 36 jumps before I have to hit the ground. So I can jump really high up and then just glide on down using the wings, because in Trove we actually get a set of wings that you can customize and stuff. That's I might as well grab what that was real quick, show y'all. Misty got me besides a weird, or like a statue my uncle has, that's a record player where a whole bunch of old little statues he had from around the house, but this is a little plush thing Misty got me for Christmas. It's soft as hell. This has got to be some, like, new material. Misty says she saw it before. I've never seen it. Like, this is the softest thing I've actually ever felt. And people will go up to you all the time, or I feel like this happens to me all the time, where they'll be like, dude, feel how soft this is. And it's like some blanket or something, and it's like, yeah, cool. It's like a little soft, I mean, I guess. But this thing right here, this thing is the softest thing I've ever felt. In terms of material. I don't know what it is. What is it? All new material, 100% polyester fibers. All ages. That's good. But okay, whatever that is, softest thing in the world. We even found these, like, bigger things that have them too. I don't know what. Polyester apparently, but amazing. Like, top of the market right there. But yeah, I wasn't trying to bump that over. I completely lost what I was trying to, like, think of before I went on that tangent right there. But hey, it's fine. Whatever it was, I'm sure I resolved it. Complete. Oh, jumps. How many jumps we have? Yeah, I remember now. And I was talking about the gliding, and the reason I was leading into the gliding is because the controller's drift is with movement. So, and to control your gliding, you have to move. But here's how gliding works. And my controller drift is up and down. So for gliding, if you lean forward, you go down. If you lean back, you fly back. If you don't touch it at all, you just glide down like normal, in like a diagonal. But if you hit down, or hit up, you go down, down, and then if you hold back, you like float back even slower. So what that results in is if it's drifting, I end up going either too slow of what I'm trying to do, or I'm going straight down and then I'm crashing into the water. Usually I glide over water or lava below, which is not good at all. So something I really don't want, but that's like one of the only games I notice it in. Like I play Minecraft on my friend's realm occasionally. I don't really notice it there. Like I'm not ever doing anything. In inventory I do, and that's really it. And then on Dead by Daylight, I don't notice it while really playing. Like I haven't been caught because I accidentally like drifted out behind a rock, but I have noticed it in the lobby. Oh my god, yes, I would pay $50 to stop it there. Like for the new controller, I mean, like it's so bad. It's so bad. Like I've had this controller for years. This didn't just start happening out of nowhere. So I mean, like I know it's probably time for a replacement, but oh, the drift in the lobby. Like I showed it yesterday on stream. I don't have that. I didn't delete it. I don't think actually. I think it's still up on Twitch. But it's just I figured out how to finally handle it. Like I can't ever try like if I'm trying to level up stuff on a blood web to level up my character, it's not working at all. I'm end up sliding around too much. I found a way to do which is hold down the thumbstick, but if I even slightly bring my thumb up and bring it back down a little bit, it'll switch characters, and then I'll have to switch back and then keep going over and over again, reopen the blood web up. So blood web, like just the main menu in Dead by Daylight in general just sucks ass to have drift in. Makes me wish I was a PC player on it, but you know that's a good thing to go into because Trove and Dead by Daylight have the same thing I noticed. Cross-platform. They now Dead by Daylight has cross-platform. Trove doesn't. However, they're on different platforms. And where I'm going with this is cross-saving. I don't know what it's actually called. Is it cross-progression? I think it's called cross-progression. Where if you play on Xbox, your PC account will progress. I love games that do that. I really do. I think Fortnite does that. Fortnite does that because you can log into your account on there. I've done that whenever my Xbox wasn't working, and then I could play Fortnite on my computer when I actually played that game. So that works on there, and then there's other games that just don't matter that I think do it because you don't really need to log in. But oh, and then Minecraft because you can play Minecraft Bedrock on PC, and then you can play it on. I don't think PlayStation and Xbox have a cross-platform thing with it though, but I know Xbox and computer definitely do because Microsoft. But Trove and Dead by Daylight don't have that, and for Dead by Daylight, where I bought again all the licensed characters, and then I'm Prestige 3 on a couple characters that I really enjoy, while on computer, and I do have it on Epic Games specifically because they gave it for free, and I was thinking about getting it on Steam before that. And the only reason I didn't is because there's no cross progression. I wouldn't have anything I worked for all this time, and that would put me back to a point where it would be useless grinding. It would be. I just wouldn't enjoy it. I want to use what I have like what I've completed. And again with Trove, I've been playing that so long, starting out of nowhere. I've been doing like certain games. It's okay to do. I feel like with especially games that don't have a one-time event. That'll never happen again. You're never able to get anything you earned from that event ever again. Oh, I don't like those. Because that immediately means, okay, so I'm never playing your game from the start ever again. Or if I do, it is not by choice. Because, like, games like Dokkan or Legends, if you've ever played those, I feel like I could restart Legends. I feel like I could, because everything comes back eventually at least once a month, or once a year, I mean. Dokkan, you know what, no, maybe Dokkan Legend's doing pretty good on that. I wouldn't say those are example. I wouldn't give those an example. There's other ones like it, though. I'm gonna dip into a topic. I'm gonna try and stay, like, pretty neutral on it, because I know some people have a lot of mixed feelings about the game. I know it's pretty much you either hate it or you love it. I have some friends that play the game Genshin Impact. They haven't been, like, trying to get me to join. I think Casey wanted me to join it for a while, but I've been saying no because I literally heard there was one character people can't get anymore, and I play games usually like that for collection purposes, and there's a character that just can't get anymore at all, no chances in the world. Sure, I like limited time events, but I don't like things being locked off if eventually I want to, like, if I play a game, I'm going to be playing it for a long time. I'm probably going to try and earn everything in it. That's another game. That's another reason I don't play games that like have a lot of stuff to unlock, because I know, like, holy shit, I'm gonna be playing this thing for years, and there's gonna be things I'll still never even end up seeing. Like, there's a whole untapped section of it that's, ugh. But they don't, yeah, like, legitimately, like, one of the main reasons I wouldn't play it, besides some of the negative stigma for players against that game, for Genshin, which I'm not saying I have that. I'm just saying I know some people do have negative opinions about it. Is straight up, I like having be able to collect everything. Another game they play is called, I think, Cookie Run on their phone. I think it's on the phone. I think it's mobile. I mean, I play mobile games too. I'm not dissing them for playing mobile games, but point is, they mentioned there was like a Sonic event, and I was like, oh, cool. So we can still get that? No. I'm like, that one's not as bad. That one's not as bad. That's like a crossover event from fucking who knows fucking where. Okay, wait. It's only a okay. I'll tell you right now. If the game doesn't have like a major thing, like some games, like there's an Attack on Titan game. No, it's not Attack on Titan. There was Attack on Titan event. I'll get to it in a second. There's a Seven Deadly Sins game where you can. It's on mobile. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called like Grand Cross or something, where you can get characters. And if you don't have the characters, they'll just be grayed out on a wanted board. I don't think that if you don't, like, if the event goes away, it'll disappear. But still, like, I don't know how to put it, because now it just makes it seem like I'm just, because like I said, it's gone once the event leaves. But still, nah, that one's not good defense actually, because like I said, it disappears after it leaves. Let me find a game that does it. There's a game I've probably played that does it before. Dead by Daylight might be a good one. Like, I own Steve and Nancy, so I don't know if their icons appear if you don't own them. Hold on, there's a bug on my table. I don't know if their icons appear for you if you don't own them. However, if a game specifically has a picture or like shows you don't have something unlocked, Xenoverse 1 I think does it as well with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or Vegito. You can get in pre-order. It'll always have a lock symbol there. That bothers me so much. I can't do it. I would have to have the game on PC and then get it like some sort of like way to get the DLC, because you can't get it unless you pre-ordered it, which technically that would be pirating, so that'd be bad. I don't promote piracy, but I'm not saying I'm going to do that either. I don't own it, and I don't care to even go through that whole process. That's part of the reason I didn't get Xenoverse 1. I heard there was one character that you can't get. I know that's such a minor thing, though. It does get to me a little bit, though. I don't know why. Just that little bit of just so close yet so far, I guess, would be a good term to put it. It's just, ugh. You know, for these two games I've been playing, like I mentioned, I was playing 2 games during this, until now that I'm saying it, because I noticed it. I wasn't even actually playing, really. I was just going around, vibing, flying around, yeah, because in both games we can fly, so yeah, flying around, and that was it. I was just wandering around the hub world for Trove, and then for the Dragon Ball game, I flew to a planet for a second to check on Broly, and then dipped, because no one was fighting him. By the way, I want to just bring up, I did that one day, and Broly is incredibly hard to beat in that game solo, or at least for a level 300 he is, before someone shows up. I haven't even said the name of the game, but if you know the game I'm talking about, it's Dragon Ball Online Generations on Roblox. And if you know the game, Broly's incredibly difficult to beat. I don't even think it's nothing is impossible. Oh, Anani Daddy 272 is following. Thanks for the follow. But anyways, he's incredibly difficult to fight. Just in general, nothing's impossible, but I really don't think it's possible for a level 300 flat just to go, or not 300, I think it's 400, because you gotta get to 400 to even make it to space, I think. Or is it 300? I don't know, whatever the basic minimum cap is, I'm like 20 levels ahead of that, so it's not very easy to do. So, I ended up making it to the planet right as like 6 people. I got the quest right before I locked on him too. about to, because if you lock onto him and let other people kill him, you get the experience. A lot of games do that, including Trove, and I love that because it really helps with helping new players. Some people could say it's just the lazy way out. I don't usually care. I'm usually the guy helping the little guy, so I don't care. But I got there right as they did the final blow, and I was like, ugh. And even then, fighting him takes 10 minutes, like, for that group. Like, 1v1ing a guy with a group of 6 takes 10 minutes. For weaker people, that could be 30. That could be maybe even like an hour. I'm glad there's no time limit. Trove recently did a thing where they changed shadow towers to these things that I hate. They're called delves, and you have like an hour to beat them. It's so annoying. You have, or not an hour, it's like 5 minutes. An hour wouldn't be bad. An hour would actually make it very easy because I can beat them within that. But I'm soloing these things because it's a public thing, and then people just dip out. It's like if you ever played Among Us and you're in. I'm bringing up so many games today, but it's like if you ever played Among Us and you're in a lobby with 8 people, like 8 randoms, and then 2 of them just dip out when they realize they aren't the imposter. But imagine that everyone doing that, and you're the only one left, and then you're on a thing that. The reason I don't like it is because it literally scales to whoever goes in with you, and if everyone leaves, it's scaled to 4 people of your level, or, well, it's random, so, like, there's a couple, like, lower levels, but, it scales to everyone being there, and then it's just you, so even if it just did scale to me, which would be already hard enough, because the power rank being higher does not necessarily mean I actually do the... It's like one of those games where if you, like... how do I put it? Just because you're, like, a high level doesn't mean you have all the gear and equipment that actually would do the same amount of damage as a higher level. Like, just because I'm level 30 pirate captain doesn't mean I actually have gear that a level 30 pirate captain would use, because I've been using the same gear. I mean, I've obviously changed whenever I found something that's, like, astoundingly better, but it's still something that I'm still behind on in certain areas. Like I mentioned, I just today, because I never needed to, change some gems from a rank that's called Shadow, which is, it's up there in ranks, but they came out, like, not only did it have, like, 3 above that, they even came out with a new one with this new update that made it even better. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping. No, like 2 updates ago, 3 updates ago, 4, like, it's been a year almost, where they added an even entire new rank that overshadows it. And I've been using that gem for probably 3 years now, that specific gem, just sitting there, because I take a lot of breaks on this game. I don't come back until, like, a friend goes, hey, you want to play that old game we used to play? And then I play it for a few days, with them. If we come back to it occasionally. But I don't have gear that is very representative of my rank, is what I'm trying to say here. So, Shadow Towers were already bad, and then they made them almost completely worse. They're useless now, in my opinion. There's no reason to go do them, because you waste a key you can use on the upgraded version. However, you can't even get the upgraded version done. So, or I can't. I seem to be the only one struggling with it. I see people in chat a lot talking about doing them, and I'm just, I don't know the mainstream way to do it. I don't know just the easiest way to grind these things up. They're very rewarding, by the way. Apparently, like, there's these things called Titan Souls. The Shadow Towers used to give, and they'd give like 1 per boss. I think I got 17 by beating 3 of those, and you have to beat. They only drop it on the 3rd one. So after finding a way to attempt to get 3 of them, because I had other people with me to get through a full 3 stages of it, and it drops 17 of them. So it's very, very rewarding. But it's just not worth it to me to go through all that. Like, ugh. I need to find the mainstream way to do it. I need to find just the quick and easy method, because that's the method I prefer to do. But it's just not an easy one to find. And I don't know. I might just be blind. Like, I'll be 100% real with you guys. There's a box that drops on... So I mentioned you had to do 3 of them to get to the goodies, because then it spawns 2 different boxes. The first box it spawned, I didn't know how to open it at first. I was, like, panicking because I couldn't figure out what button, like, or not what button, how to get the key. I was sitting there Googling how to get... It was called a pressurized chest. I was like, okay, how do I open the pressurized chest? How do I open it? And in Trove, there's two ways to open chests. You either have a key, where you just break it open, like you physically, if you're a class with a sword, or you use your fists, you just punch it or smack it open. Or if you're a class with a gun or a bow, you shoot it open. Well, I was just too busy trying to do keys, and I never thought, what happens if I just shoot it? Turns out you're just supposed to shoot it, like it's that easy, and then it opens. So I ended up doing two of them, like 2 days before I figured out like actually how to grind them up for the method I'm doing now. And then just turns out, yeah, you just shoot it. Like it's not that hard at all. And then for the one that actually drops the good stuff, you had to use the keys, which if you use those keys in the Shadow Towers now, they just give you 3 random items and a chance of dropping a mount that the boss in the Shadow Tower represents, and there's only one that actually matters, and it's the Darknik Dreadnought, which is like 23 million flux right now. There's one in the market on Xbox right now. For reference, the other mount that I know of that's from what I thought was the most expensive in the game is 24 million. So it's pretty expensive. I don't know if that one guy that's just selling it right now is it just on a huge overprice because there's no other ones on there right now, but still, that's the one I've been chasing for a while. I've been chasing both of them, honestly, but, you know, there's a reason they're so expensive. They're not just getting handed out on, like, it's Halloween. But, still, it's just, nah. I did find an interesting way to manipulate the market, though. It turns out there's, like, a really easily farmable resource that gets you, like, 20k flux, or not 20k flux, 2k flux per sale, just by selling, like, a small handful. So that's really neat. I ended up making a video the other day on my YouTube channel, and it was basically a mini rant video. I'm not trying to become like a ranty guy. I don't want to sit here and complain. I'm just trying to sit here and just have some fun and chill. However, in my free time, I like going to the local park down the road. It's literally like 2 blocks away. It's not even that far. You know, I'd say about 4 blocks, but still, it's a straight road though. Like I can just measure it because there's 4 different 4 different roads that go down on the side of that road before I actually hit the park. And I go down there just to sit. To just usually to get out of the house, and I draw, or I will listen to music. Actually, I'll do both at the same time. And if you've seen the video, you know why I had a rant about it. It's because some random guy just fucking had a glass bottle and he broke it right next to the fucking playground where, again, children play. I just can't believe that shit. Like, don't do that. Pick it up if you do it at least. Like, I can see maybe doing it for a joke, but don't just leave it for someone else to pick up. Like, I don't get it. Like, do you know who's supposed to pick up from parks? Because I sure as hell don't. Are there people who are supposed to pick up things from parks? Like, designated government working people is what I'm talking about right here, not just like random people with the trash bag like I was. It just bothers me. It gets me so fucking bad. I don't know why. I feel like there's an episode of South Park. I'm not comparing what was done, by the way, because South Park likes to exaggerate things. I'm trying to use an example. I feel like that episode of South Park where Sharon's complaining about, I don't know if this word's okay to say in Twitch or YouTube, violent acts at school. I'll say that. I feel like that's a good way to say it. Without directly saying what it was, that everyone was getting so, like, desensitized to the whole thing. And I'm not saying, like, someone having a piece of broken glass at a playground just, like, broken next to it is any at all comparable to that. No, that is a terrible act that, you know, is... I'm gonna stop talking about it now so I don't get... Like, I'm trying to, like, steer away from it as much as possible. I'm just trying to say... I just feel like that because I'm not... It's not that no one's, like, getting mad at the glass bottle thing as much as I am. It's just I'm noticing, like... I'm second-guessing myself and thinking if it's actually even that bad. Like, it's not that big of a deal, you know? Like, I'm not trying to make it a big deal. I just definitely want to alert people, hey, that's not a good thing to do. Because apparently some people don't fucking know that. Like, obviously, if they're doing that. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm just making a big deal out of it. That's something that happens when I make videos a lot often. It's something that happens. I get a little self-conscious about what I say in the video, because I'm afraid someone, like, randomly could take a little bit of small amount of offense to something I say in it. I'm telling you right now, if I ever say something super offensive, like, And that can be taken as I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm not saying if I flat out call someone like things that shouldn't be said, like that's obviously me being a jackass. But I'm like, if I say something super insensitive without realizing it, I never am trying to do that. I never. That's not ever my intention. Obviously, I don't want to do things like that. I don't want to ever hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want to say something that's super like, oh, you get canceled on Twitter. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm looking out like just to not get canceled on Twitter, because I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't. If I can't take. I usually like don't take anyone's personal opinion seriously on Twitter most of the time, or currently I don't. At the time of recording this, anyways. Who knows? I could change years down the line if I get really, really like, what's self-confident? Like, it's that thing where you reflect on yourself and you just think a whole bunch of negative thoughts about yourself. I don't know what it is, but self-conscious, I think, is what it is. Yeah, that. Maybe I'll start caring about it then, but I get really worried when I upload videos that I say something that I might have said something. There are some videos that are private on my channel right now because I'm just worried that I'm like, maybe I didn't have enough good energy on that. Maybe it didn't need to be said, you know. Maybe people won't get the joke. And I'm not saying like I did something like, I, maybe it's not as funny as I thought it would be, and I just get really self-conscious about that, and I just unlist it. I never delete. I don't delete videos. Everything is still on the backlog. The only time I delete videos if like YouTube's like, hey, there's something bad in this, delete it. And I don't think I've ever actually had to do that. I had to do that once on Twitch because I was an idiot and gave my stream key out or something along the lines of that, and then I looked at my computer and see it was streaming, so no clue what that was about. And then I had to delete it because obviously there was obscene content on it. But I don't know. I don't usually delete videos. If for some reason in the future you ever see a video that just disappears and you knew it was there, if you know how to at me, or if there's even like a comment section on another video, literally type in that comment section, hey, what happened to this one? And I can tell you probably the reason why I unlisted it, or not unlisted it, it's not even unlisted, it's just completely private at that point. Because I don't think it's the kind of thing where it's like during the steps, the makeup process of it, it's like, is this really a good idea? I am thinking that during it, but then at that point, it's just like I put too much effort in it, might as well finish it, and then if I really keep feeling like this, I can just always hit private. And then I end up doing it. Like, there was one time I did a poem, I guess you would call it. It's not that it was, like, anything weird. I was complaining about, and no, I'm not, like I said, I'm still not trying to just make a channel about complaining. It was a lighthearted joke about people disconnecting from matches, PvP matches, and co-op events in Dragon Ball Legends. And it's still on the channel, it's just privated right now, because I just don't feel like it was that funny at the end of the day. I had already recorded it, I had already edited it even, and I just didn't think it was that funny. If anything, I just feel like it came off in this monotone voice. Here's the thing, I don't live alone. I live in a house with currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including me, 5 people. One of them is my mother, and then one is my uncle, and then one is his grandson and his girlfriend. It is incredibly difficult because I record at night always, because that's the time I get the least interruptions. There was even a little bit in the beginning of the stream where someone was in the kitchen. I was trying to be a little quiet so I wasn't being too loud. I get embarrassed, like, with other people being able to hear me. But that's the thing. If it's on the screen, like right now, or if I'm in a call with someone, it's fine. But in person, I get performance anxiety. However, I totally feel like I can get on stage and do something. It's literally just like people like literally next to me or in places I shouldn't be. Like, I guarantee you right now, I don't think my mom really gets like live streaming. You know what I mean? Like, if I went in there and tried explaining the whole thing to her, sure, she'll get the basic concept. Obviously, she gets like just like the people on the news. Like, I'm not saying she's a boomer and doesn't understand anything like technology related. Not that being a boomer would be bad, but do you understand what I mean? Like, if I'm explaining that I'm sitting here talking to myself with, I'm 90% sure I don't have a single viewer right now, probably gonna think I'm a little crazy. I think I have one viewer. Okay, it says I do have one. I don't think I have the stream pulled up, do I? Okay, no. So whoever you are, thank you for being here, by the way. Thank you for tuning in, because I think from memory, I think you've been here for a little bit, because I think I remember seeing that one for a bit now. I just wasn't sure if it was me. Point is, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how to explain to someone randomly in the kitchen, because I don't have a door on my room. That's the main problem. I always am speaking in this monotone fucking voice. If I ever get my own house, it's going to be me and Misty, and that's it. And if we ever have children one day, then that, but they're not gonna fucking care because they're gonna know. You know, like I don't have to sit and like really have to worry about what I say because, and I'm not saying anything bad. It's just I don't know how to explain well what I'm doing, and I don't want to be loud either because it's late. I don't want to wake anyone up. Like I don't know how loud I'm really being with these headphones on, but I'm trying to speak in a monotone voice. I'm not trying to be excitable, and I'm not saying I'm gonna be like super fucking loud and obnoxious. I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to do that either. However, I feel like I'm like legitimately really limited, like what I'm doing now. And I'm sure they wouldn't care. Like I'm sure if I slipped up occasionally, like right now even, they wouldn't mind. Everyone here is pretty understanding. Like it's just still it bothers me though. You know, like I just get that weird performance anxiety. You know, like well, what if that joke won't land well with someone that's sitting like literally right next to me? I don't get that. I don't like it. I feel like I wouldn't get that way with like I said like someone like Misty or something, you know, who definitely understands what I'm doing. I'm just doing this for fun in my free time, you know, and enjoying myself. Like that's it, you know. And the people, like I said, that I'm on Discord calls with, it might just really depend on the people. Because like I said, I really feel like I could just walk up on a stage in front of random people, and I wouldn't feel like I would get that performance anxiety. I've been told I'm a pretty social person and apparently a charismatic one. And surprisingly, these words aren't mine. I've been told that, and I'm a little shocked by it. But just it's not with everyone I know either. It's just I feel like it's specifically the people I live with, and I'm just so awkward about it. Maybe if I just stopped being awkward about it, maybe it wouldn't be so fucking bad. Like I have a friend, like his name's Austin. That I feel like that would be his advice is just don't be awkward, dude. Like I'm even later I'll even message him and be like, hey, look, I literally brought up in a stream about how awkward I am, and I mentioned that I feel like you would just straight up just don't be awkward. Would that actually be your answer? And I feel like he'd just be like, yep, bro, just don't be awkward. I mean, he's joking, obviously. I mean, but still, Austin's cool. I'd like to get him in on a stream one time. I wonder what we do though. I wish I had a phone I could actually like stream like again. I mean, I did before. There's a couple of videos on my channel where I was in computer class with my friend Isaiah, and we were just I, there was a substitute, and I fucking hate computer class. Oh boy, we're typing on fucking Excel. Wow. Thanks for the credit. Like the the fucking I didn't get any college credit classes. I took classes with college credits. I just didn't do any for college credits. But thanks for the high school credit. Not gonna use you for anything. I'm pissed because they like got a cybersecurity class the year I left. I'm pretty sure, or I didn't drop out. I graduated, but you know what I mean. Like the year I ended up leaving, I didn't know about it when like signing up for classes, and instead I took some sort of fucking keyboard class. Cybersecurity would be fucking awesome. Like I had to learn a lot of the stuff I know on my own. Yeah, you ever okay? You know that joke where you're like talking to your parents and then you start like trying to dance around the illegal stuff. I'm getting that vibe right now. I'm not saying I'm a hacker or anything, but I mean like I've been around. Had access to computers since like 2007. No, no. 2014. I feel like no. 12. 2012. Yeah. So it's been at least 10 years. Like you pick up some stuff around then, you know where to go and what to do at that point. If that's been literally what you come home and do all day. So, and no, I've never used that maliciously. Like I've never done that. I've avoided stuff from people doing it to me by having that knowledge, like scams and stuff. Obviously, like I've been able to avoid easily, except for that occasional time where, like I mentioned just now, I got my stream key taken, and then like I mentioned that like what 5 minutes ago. But that's the thing. Like it's just I really wanted that class would be fucking awesome. I would have liked that. I feel like that would have been up my alley. I didn't like the teacher though that much. Not a bad person. It's just I didn't like. Just eh. I'm not gonna go into like teachers I didn't like. I don't think I had a legitimate teacher I hated. Actually, no, I did have one. It was my typing class teacher. He was kind of an asshole. I'm gonna say that up front. He wasn't all the time, sure. Like he was a cool guy. I'm pretty sure. Like I'm saying pretty sure because there's more proof he wasn't. I have a friend named Alec who brought in. We got these school issued Chromebooks we all had to carry around the school all day, and some kids didn't need to bring them. Something was wrong with theirs or something, so they take a replacement one from the help desk every day. So he was working for one of the extra credit classes, or for some sort of credit for some sort of special thing. I don't know, but you get something for doing it. where he would be the guy who goes and gets them at the end of the day, so they have their return ones. They're called loaners. They loan them to you throughout the day. So he was sent to go get them, and he walked in because they have to they're allowed to walk in classes to come get them, and they're just told not to be disrespectful about it. So my friend Alec walks in with it. He was told to get someone's where he just reads their name off the piece of paper. They walk up to him if they're there and they give it to him. Well, the way it went was he sat there waiting, and then the teacher stopped, and there was a good moment of silence. Like, I could probably count to about, like... And then he asks, hey, is anyone in there, Or anyone in here named this? And then he gave him the Chromebook, or got the Chromebook. But the fucking teacher goes, you could just wait until I'm done. And I'm like, everyone I knew in that class that I talked to about it, like, straight up all agreed. You weren't fucking going. Like, there was nothing to continue with on it, my guy. He was done, and he was just calling out. Like, Alec was pissed. I don't blame him. I was kind of mad at him, too. Like, that was just so bullshit. Other than that, nothing really bad happened. Like, I feel like he was more of the kind of teacher, from memory, to where he would just be like, put your phone away, and then if you, like, did, and then got it out after the second time he did it, it would, depending on the day, he would either just not ask again and just let you slack off, or just directly send you to the office. Like, one of the two. Like, one or the other, and I don't like that. It's just... Sure, he's probably a cool guy or something outside of school, but that didn't make me happy when he did that. I had some really good teachers in high school. Like, I had some... I feel like some that were genuine, like, they enjoyed their job, or they managed to put on a happy enough smile to fake it that they enjoyed their job. Like, even the ones that didn't enjoy their jobs, still I had one that didn't really, and just loved the shit out, like, just was a pleasant person to talk to, and that was my history teacher for a bit. She was pretty fucking fun. I liked having her as class. History is one of my favorite subjects, because I suck at actually doing anything that involves thought. I'm gonna put it blatantly. I'm not an idiot, but I mean, I'm not... Like, spring a math problem on me at random, and I feel like anyone like this, yeah, but I mean, like, spring a math problem on me at random, and I'm just gonna start counting on my fingers, attempting it. I'm not, like, anything. Obviously, 2 plus 2 equals 4, but that's like Big Shack quick maths. Like, that's not anything, like, genuinely hard. Like, 37 times 40, I'd be like, I don't know that kind of shit. Like, I mean, I could work it. I can find the answer quickly. Like, we all have calculators in our pockets too at this point these days. I mean, I don't have a phone, but you know what I mean. Like, there's one on the laptop I'm streaming on right now on. But and then science classes eventually. I wanted to be a scientist growing up, and like, I had the really unrealistic goals before I knew that they weren't unrealistic, of like curing cancer and building robots and shit. Now, the building robot shit, that's totally a thing. However, obviously, I had like the unrealistic, like, answer of like the shit you'd see in Terminator. I'm not saying like the evil part of it, but I mean like full exoskeleton, like able to do anything kind of robot. Not kill humanity. I was not trying to make Skynet, but you know what I mean. I technically haven't even seen Terminator, by the way. I just know that that's how the movie goes at this point, just because of years of hearing about it. But once I started getting stuff like periodic table, I'm like, I like the idea. That's why I like took engineering for a bit too. At first, because I was like, I learned a little bit about, like, we use software and stuff where we were modeling a lot of the things we were trying, like, making things. It was a lot of the hand-on, like, producing things. And since then, I've actually, like, I picked up some things for it. Like, I've been making, like, product ideas for a bit. Like, I ended up thinking of a couple that were... One was... Okay, so occasionally they're jokes, because we had to make, like, a lot of pitch... Or occasionally we had to pitch things in that class for ideas and stuff. And two of them that weren't really serious... and these weren't in the class. Like, these I've just made up since then, like, very recently, actually. One of them was a cat boppet called Bappet. And it's just complete novelty. In fact, I was told I apparently would potentially make a really great salesman because of this pitch. It's complete novelty. No one is supposed to take it seriously whatsoever. However, it's just... And if you do actually manage to get your cat to actually play with it, that's just on you. That's amazing. But it's just the kind of thing where you just get it. And I got this idea because Misty has a cat named Bob, which is a girl, by the way. I think it's short for Bobberina or something like that. Point is, and we just call her Bob. It's a little funny, but anyways, we got her this like mouse thing that stands up if you stick it to a table, and it's not very good at sticking. It was like $1, but still, we got it for her and we started playing with it for her right in front of it. She walks up, like messes with it a little bit, and then just walks away. And I don't think she's ever touched it since, and it's been months. So that was my idea behind it. Just like, wow, certain cat toys they just don't mess with. And I was like, wait a minute. And then we played Bop It that day too, and I was like, wait a minute, Bop It, but for cats, Bap It. And that's the joke. Like, you know, they're like, it's like a $10 thing you can get. They're never gonna fucking mess with it, and that's the joke. That's the whole joke. And people, but I know people would buy it for the novelty. Like, there's an old PewDiePie video where he used to do, I think it was Fridays with PewDiePie, or like where he'd buy stuff and things. I don't remember if that was the video. That might have been, he might have been a different series where he did, where he just bought like an electronic yodeling pickle, and just me watching him use that legitimately made me kind of want to go out and get one, because it's just so fucking weird. Just have like an electronic yodeling pickle. Of course, I was also like 11 at the time, so I mean that seemed like an actual interesting thing at the time to me. But I was like, wait a minute, novelty items totally work in marketing like that, especially if they play into the novelty. But then also if they try and take it completely seriously, I feel like that can be funny too. Certain things can do it. But like, have you seen like Flex Tape's marketing team? That's a great example. Like John Tron especially also helped with that, but they still play into it a little bit. I love it. That's like an actual brand I follow on social media, like multiple social media platforms, because they post interesting things. It's so weird. Have I ever bought Flex Tape? No. I was thinking about buying Flex Tape for our TV production teacher, because we showed them that commercial, and because we were shooting commercial, or thinking about shooting commercials, and they thought that was funny. So I was thinking of like, for before we end up graduating, get it for them, but I never end up doing it. But the other one though, is one I haven't really pitched to anyone yet besides one person. I don't think this one's really that bad of an idea though. It's just having to work out the details with it, because there's a couple different directions you can go with it, and it was calendars, because we were looking for a calendar in the store the other day. But to make the image, you get puzzles. So basically once a month, at the beginning of the month, if you're like a big puzzle fan, you would make the picture with the puzzle pieces, you know? There's a couple problems with it, and mainly the problems with it would be, and I think it's still a really good idea, like, it's just, the only thing is, how would you get the pieces to stay up? So you'd have to glue them in, or maybe have them literally be stickers. But also, if you don't use the right material for the puzzle pieces, the paper's going to be too thick to have like a 12-month calendar kind of thing that isn't this thick. So I don't want that, obviously. Like, I'm never actually going to produce these ideas. Like, they're never actually going to be made by me. And if you're watching this and plan to ever use those, I'd like a little credit. I'm not saying I want money, but maybe a little credit. No, I'm kidding, but you know what I mean. But it's just ironing out the details. Plus, another thing with stickers is if you use stickers and fuck up, then you ruin the whole thing, because you don't have an extra piece. And then two, children having it, like, up to a certain age it's fine, but certain children might, not do it right, and that can make, it just, hell, some might just enjoy having a clusterfuck, like, honestly, on their wide, I mean, you know what I mean, but, like, it would be either aimed at people who like puzzles or, like, children, honestly. That's the two, like, marketed groups, because any age can like puzzles. Hell, I used to do puzzles all the time when I was younger. In fact, I would do them now, too. Misty loves them, too, at this age. And she's 19, about to be 20 in, like, 3 months. Which is also weird, because I just turned 20 a month ago. Or, not 20. I just turned 19 a month ago. Hate having a late birthday. But, actually, no. I turned 20 this month. 17 days ago. And she's turning 20 in, like, 5 months. So that's fun. But, and we both probably still like puzzles. That's why I was like, that was part of the main idea of it. But it's either too thick, or, like, some of the marketing ideas, like, for it wouldn't be a good idea. I don't know. Good in concept, though. I feel like puzzle piece that you, like, it's a puzzle you gotta do once a month. It's like one of those advent calendars that you open the door and get something out of for Christmas that they always make. I love those things. I got one year. I've only had one, and I loved it that entire year. I'd do a thing where I'd open like 3 of them in one day, and then like for those next 3 days, I wouldn't open any other ones. I'd wait and I'd catch back up and then do it, and then I really enjoy doing that. I'm gonna start getting those again. Like it was a chocolate one I got from a grandmother, I think, but I want to start doing that again. And then the third one actually was a legitimate one that wasn't really a joke one. There's no jokes here. The one joke I made is where you're basically just playing FNAF if you work in it, but uh, it was an idea for, and this was due to, we had, well, before this year it's summer right now at Christmas. We no white Christmas. It's, if I'm not saying global warming did it, but I'm saying it's definitely made me start worrying. But anyways, back when we used to have bad blizzards and stuff, and this would also work, just flip it on its, just instead of using heat, use cold. This would work in like deserts and shit, or like places, you know, like Egypt or something. I think it's hot there, isn't it? Like Africa, it's hot as hell there, isn't it? Hell, Florida, don't snow there. I've been to Florida on Christmas. It's what it feels like here now. This is middle America right now, and it feels like fucking Florida. Anyways, off topic. What I'm trying to say here is, it's a box. It's a box about the size of one of those sheds you can go pick up from Home Depot, or Lowe's even, and or though even those small little houses you can just pick up from places. Like they're really easy to transport because, like I said, you can just put them on a truck, take them anywhere. Have I said like I've said like a lot? Also like I mentioned this before. I say like a lot. I'm not trying to do that. Just if I catch myself doing, I'll try and knock it off. But so they take these like small little homes, or the size of it, and this box, the only thing it has is a small little, it has a desk in it with walls obviously off, because this doesn't really work well with the coronavirus protocols we have right now, but after the pandemic eventually ends, maybe it'll work a little better. But the whole point of it, the whole idea with it is, you take a room with chairs, maybe a couple tables in it, not too many, definitely not for transport, and the only point of this room is to provide heat or air conditioning, and there's solar panels on the roof of the building that can be cleaned if there's snow on them or anything else, to provide those during times of emergencies, or to be put there either year-round or just at the start of winter in places that may need them during the winter. And maybe having like 3 of these in each city, like these things that are just set up as temporary things. And the way parks are usually ran, I think they're open from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. That exact thing right there. And if there's an emergency that night, maybe they can be open longer, and people, that's what I meant by people can work in there. Someone sits at a desk, regulates the temperature based on what it needs, instead of just having a robot that does everything for it, you know what I mean? Because the thing is, these things are meant to be like a closed-in area where at most, like I'm thinking 10 people at most could be able to sit in, maybe even more in case of emergencies, you know, but that's the thing, though. You don't really, like, want, let's say, homeless people. I'm not against homeless people. I don't hate homeless people just because they're homeless. Like, usually, sometimes it's not their fault. But I mean, like, maybe have a guy back there that can dispense, like, or, like, he'll just hand people homeless, like, help people find the homeless shelters, you know, be like, hey, here's a pamphlet for the homeless shelter, literally up the road, you know, like, go there. Like, this can be, like, a little hotspot for people who, or, like, this isn't just for people who are homeless, by the way. I also mentioned the idea of, like, and I have had this happen, I've even had friends that have happened where they're like, hey, I'll get to a story about it for it not happening for a friend in a minute, but I've had friends, I walked up to him, I basically said, or I messaged him, I was like, so have you ever had a moment where in winter or summer, so let's say summer, your air conditioner breaks, your entire house, maybe even lose power, and you have no way to cool down at all? What'd you do then, besides just sit there and swelter? And usually the answer was sit there and swelter, or go to a friend's house. These things don't even have to be open, like, long. Like, you don't got, like, this could just be like a quick, easy pop in, get back to normal, and then leave, like, or just wait it out until your house has power or something. Now, imagine this at Christmas time, same thing. What if your house runs out of heat during, like, a blizzard or something, and you can just go sit there while you just wait to get it fixed, or wait for the power to come back on, if you don't have a friend's house to go to. I remember one time, I heard someone tell me a story about, I gotta remember the story now, I might have already lost it. I lost my train of thought because something happened in Trove. What do you think? I had it a minute ago, because I mentioned I'd bring it up in a minute. Oh, So imagine if you have a grandmother or something, or someone who's a little older, who is driving a car that doesn't have AC. Because I definitely have had that issue where some days I just couldn't, like, my nana was supposed to come down and do something with me on that day, but they really didn't want to because they had really bad problems, respiratory problems, especially in the heat. So we really didn't have a lot of opportunities on certain days. So what we ended up having to do was just wait because it's too hot on those days. Now I'm not saying this would just I would like this would just fix that problem at all. I mean, eventually just fix get the air conditioning fixed. But some people have that issue of like not having air conditioning or heat in their car, and these buildings can be like little pit stops. That way you don't just gotta pull into like a random gas station or something and just sit there for a minute. You can pull into places that are literally designed for it to take a break and just cool off or get warm. It's not a very convenient thing. It's not something like I'm like campaigning for to be put out. It was just an idea I thought like in a moment, but I don't know. I just thought that was something that could, because there's with any idea, there's always a backlash to it. There's always a problem. There's always going to be some guy who has a problem with it, who's going to be like, hey, there's this, this, and this. So I don't really think too hard on things I just come up with at random. Like, hell, even me explaining that entire pitch I just gave to you guys. You guys probably, there's a small chance, or even a big chance even, someone saw a hole that I didn't even mention. If you heard it and have something that could have went wrong with it, bam, also getting people to actually agree to put these things up, like the city, there's a lot of issues with it. It's not something I'm like trying to actively do though, so I'm not trying to like I feel like anything without every bit of information can sound good. Anything. Literally anything. Like you can present the idea of I'm not going to give examples of like bad things, but you can give the ideas of terrible things without giving all of the information. You'll get someone eventually you will find someone who's on board if you leave out certain key aspects of it. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I just haven't thought of the other negative aspects of it until brought up. Because like someone could literally comment, because I'm probably gonna upload this to YouTube. Someone could probably comment, "Oh hey, that would be a massive problem for the rainforest, something I don't know." And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're right. That's a terrible idea. Never mind. Just ignore it all." Instead of like workshop and there's no way to like find a way around that at all. And I'd probably be like, "You're right. Terrible idea." But on the surface, doesn't sound so bad. I don't know. My throat's starting to get a little bit raspy because I'm talking for so long, just straight like monotone talking. But that's okay because I mean I'm not really like yelling. I'm not trying to be loud, so I'm not really straining my voice. So that's pretty good. But there's been times I've done group calls where I'm being a little bit louder because it's during the day usually, where I've been a little bit louder, and I've walked away for like 30 minutes with my throat being super dry and scratchy because I was, I used it so much. Right now I'm getting that a little bit, but it's not anything too bad. I feel like that's a good sign. Feels like I wasn't just being super boring on stream this entire time. That's what I was worried about, like not having anything to talk about, not being boring. I'm sure I've been hella boring this entire time. I just don't care. I'm just doing this for fun. But I'm just worried that it just didn't have anything to do at all. Like just me sitting here just doing this. Hey chat. Yeah, I didn't want to do that the entire time. Like, that's dumb. I mean, it's not dumb, but it's just not what I'm trying to do. I don't want it. If there's a chance for an audience, like, because it's going on YouTube, so I've got to keep talking basically at all times because I don't want to leave anything because I can't edit. I can't edit, or I can download and edit, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want to leave any room for any moment to be potentially boring. So it's like it's not babysitting, but it's like trying to constantly keep someone's attention, I don't know because I've been live streaming for an hour and 23 minutes. I have no idea who in the right mind would listen to just literally 123 hours of me rambling like this. I don't. But hey, if there's someone out there to do it, I'm totally fine to keep going. Also, I'm going to be doing it anyways, so I mean, it's just like if anyone would end up watching it later at a later date, hey, good on them, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be rambling myself, like I don't just sit here and do this, like I probably would just be in a call, however everyone went to bed a little bit earlier than they usually do, so I just was like, hey, I'll just do this one in the meantime, but I don't know. The alternative to probably what I'm doing right now would just be me sitting here listening to music, honestly, and doing the same thing on my Xbox, honestly. Just be me doing this still and just listen to music. I got a little bit, it wasn't self-conscious, but I got a little worried whenever, so for me and Misty's 4-year anniversary, I uploaded a list she gave me, she gave me a list of music that she liked, and it's like a 4-page list that she wrote out from all of her albums. She sometimes wrote out the entire album that she worked really hard to make for me, and I put it on Spotify finally, so I can just hit shuffle and play it on there rather than having to like single-handedly type in every single song that's on the list that's sitting over there by those plush animals or stuffed animals and stuff. But I showed it, or I posted it on my Instagram story that I made it, and a friend ended up messaging me and be like, "Oh, that's cute," and I was like, "Oh, hey, want to see it real quick?" I ended up working a lot of time into it, and I'm pretty much, me and her are the only people who are going to see it, and I feel like, hey, it'd be cool to show. And then I did that, and eventually that somehow led to the conversation of, well, what kind of music do you listen to? Because I think they mentioned the fact that the entire beginning of the list is like every Linkin Park song. Like, it's legitimately every Linkin Park song. And I was like, well, that's just the music that she put on that list. Like, she just really likes Linkin Park. And it ended up somehow leading down into what kind of music they listen to. And they told me, I think, and they showed me like this Spotify stat thing. So theirs was pretty normal. I think it was like a little bit of country and stuff. And then I don't really remember that well, but it was pretty like normal things. Like, I don't really remember. And I think a little bit of musical theater was one of them too, but that's about it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do mine, thinking it's going to be like AC/DC, Avenged Sevenfold. Like, it didn't give band names, it gave genres. And because that's what I was trying to listen to a lot more at the time of. However, because it does the year and not the most recent, or it does the most recent 4 weeks, it didn't do like the most recent like 2 weeks, which is what I was actually started already to do. It was complete, like, and this is like a friend that's like just a casual like person that just does what I think normal things. I don't know them that well, but it basically went from here's some country, a little bit of pop, to it was a list of 10. 8 of the 10 were just Japanese. Like, it was a whole bunch of anime stuff. It wasn't like in Japanese, it was like in English. It translated what the genres were, but they were all just different because I was listening to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure openings and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure opening covers and stuff, and I was like, oh, I mean, and also a couple other animes, but like there's a lot of Jonathan Young JoJo's Bizarre Adventure covers. Also, that was the time when I had just found that they actually had the soundtrack from the show on Spotify, so I put a lot of them on there, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should send this to them now, because that's a little worrying. But yeah, I ended up sending it and being like, it should be something like this, and they were like, oh yeah, sure. And I was like, oh. Then a few weeks after, I ended up doing it again, and it actually showed the ones, and then I felt embarrassed at that point because I had already shown them the other one, and then they kind of were suspicious because it did kind of look like I just, instead of, to fix it, to make it look somewhat normal, I had only listened to what you would consider like average like songs you'd hear on the radio for like 4 weeks, and that's not what I did. I was doing that anyways. I'm going to defend myself because now it does probably seem like that to you guys as well. I'm not going to try and defend myself that hard because I know it's true. That's all I'm going to say. Now it's just awkward at this point, but it just feels, I feel bad for even originally proposing the idea of like, hey, what kind of songs is this to? It's not what I thought it would do. That's not the direction I thought I'd go at all. I thought I'd just go, oh yeah, country. Oh, I listen to this. I didn't know there'd be a fucking weird-ass stat tracker thing. And then apparently Spotify also does that at the end of the year or something like that. I saw there was a thing for it. Ow. And I ended up showing the top 10 songs. And like only one of the top 10 songs was an anime song, so I felt good. Other ones were like, I don't even remember. I think All Star was on there. It's a good song. It's in Shrek. You ever seen Shrek? Good movie. Getting a little tired. It's currently 11:17 p.m. where I'm at. At night. I want to specify. At night. Not a bad night though. Today didn't go that wasn't as boring as usual. That's pretty good. I got these things that randomly fall from the sky. There's like these big black guardian things that they're like black and blue. They have like blue glass on their head, on their helmet, and they just randomly fall out of the sky. Sometimes in like groups of 3 too. They're not too tough. I mean, depending on what level you're at, they're not too tough. They're like the same as an average boss in that level, but they're just a neat little enemy. Nothing too bad to worry about. Oh, I ended up getting 9 boxes. Trove is a game where you have to open a lot of boxes up in. Like, a lot of loot boxes, a lot of different things like that, and it's to the point where the one that I just opened, I got this kind of thing where it unlocks recipes, and recipes are usually, because the game Trove you can build, it's kind of a lot like how Minecraft is of building, but a lot of different more variety blocks. So you get recipes to get the different variety blocks that aren't just green, blue, red, yellow, you know. So it's the point where the one I just opened and the recipe I just used, I had already gotten all of them from that collection or set, so I didn't even need it. Like, I can't use it at all. I just had to throw it out because I physically cannot do anything with it. Because it's also an item that's not tradable. Remember how I mentioned earlier, if it's not tradable, it's not sellable? Can't do anything with it. There's no benefit for me holding on to it. Besides, I think I get a scroll item, which now I remembered I could get that from that specific one. However, it's not. It's fine. I didn't need it. Well, now that I have actually been grinding, how much of that item do I have? I have, and I had to get these one by one. They usually spawn in about clusters of like 6. I have 359. It's not bad. That is a lot. That is a lot. So, I'm hoping one of these days I do these chill streams, because I want to do these chill streams more often. I like these kind of ones. I really do. However, I don't really know what to talk about half the time. I mentioned that earlier when I was talking about the D&D thing of like, I don't know what y'all want. If you did want D&D, I'd still talk about D&D, but that's the thing. If I could know what y'all want me to talk about, that's what I would be mainly trying, or I'd actually, like, people can bring up things in chat I could even talk about too. I hope to one day actually be able to start pick up a little bit of, like, actual viewers that can come in. Like, it doesn't even have to be the same consistent people, just something to go off of than just, you know, me talk about what I'm actively doing right now in a game that you guys can't even see. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going on free roam, right, or free, like, autopilot mode in the game. I'm not actually even doing anything that requires any thought, because then I'd just be talking about that instead, or not talking at all, which I'd rather not do. So, I don't know. Hope to get a couple, like, viewers in occasion, or eventually, that would be able to, like, converse in chat, because I can see chat. It's to my, well, it's to my right, what appears to be your guys' left, so. I don't know. I also started streaming more, and yeah, I'm gonna go into a little bit of D&D here. I've pretty much gotten to the point where if you're watching at this point, you pretty much don't care what I'm saying. It's just probably on for background noise. Pay attention. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But, I started doing the Hindering Spirits live streams again recently, or I haven't really been doing, I wouldn't say I've started doing it again. We did one more again recently. We did it's like, you'll see one every 2 months. Like, that seems to be the rate it's going right now, but it's not really needed, though. There's not anything, it's pretty much just going up. Like, it's to the point where they're not doing anything. Like, I think they just, that's the problem with that campaign. It became much more of a player-driven one than an actual linear plot, like, that it can be followed. It just turned into, what does the group want to do today, which I was lucky enough to have people that actually got creative enough to come up with new things every week that we played. But it still does get stale eventually. Like, I'm running a campaign for Misty right now. It's a little slow how she's progressing with it, but it's not her fault at all. It's my fault. It's mainly because there's only one player, and it's only her, because we don't have a way to get her into the Discord calls, so it's literally just her when she's playing, and I don't want her to be left out. That's why I'm running it for her still. And and it's literally just boiled down to, at this point, the sessions go really slow because there's no one to bounce ideas off of except me. And if I'm offering suggestions, it's usually it's hard to offer suggestions without literally saying, okay, so it's a door. You should go through it. Like, it's really hard to not be like deadpan, I guess would be the word for it, and super obvious with what I'm trying to say. I feel like I'm better to do it with a group because I'm able to, like, there's another bug, hold on. I feel like it's a little easier to do it there. And it makes me feel bad because I know I'm giving a lesser quality, but here's the thing, it is a linear plot though. We took a break because it's not really, it's a linear plot with room to add their own things. However, I'm noticing if it's just Misty, there's not much she adds. It's still left up to me, and I'm kind of being not an asshole, but I'm not being helpful by leaving room for her at this point because she's not, it's not that she's not getting anywhere, it's there's nowhere that she can see to go, and she doesn't really know what to ask to progress. But that's the thing, the way I usually DM, not all the time, this one has a linear plot and I'll mention it in a second, but the way I DM, a lot of the time it's a lot of player input as well, or I like that, or I like to give that room of what does the group want to do, you know? What does everyone want to do? And when the person's going, I want to get the thing done, well, the thing that they're not supposed to really be able to do until level 20, and they started at level 1, so that's the thing. How are you going to work your way up to level 20, and then we're not really getting anywhere because neither of us really know what to do. So I have to keep coming up with things to do, and then it's super boring because it's very linear. It's not railroady, but it's linear. It's like, okay, you're at a puzzle. Now do the puzzle single-handedly. That's not. And I can't help you. We're in a room, alone together. Take a puzzle. Do it. Oh, wait. We're good. No hints. You know, even though I'm sitting right here, I can't help you. You do have 2 NPCs there to help you, because I did give her that. I'm not just sending her in dungeons alone. But I can't help you. Oh, and you can't get mad at me, because, you know, you can't get mad at me that I can't help you, because, you know. And that just feels wrong. That feels wrong. It feels really, really wrong. It's so awkward. Never DM for one person. I'm not, Misty, if you're watching this, I'm fine with DMing for you. I love DMing for you. But I'm telling you, if anyone else who is doing it should not do it for one person. No, do not. I will continue to do it for Misty, though. I do enjoy it, and I enjoy it heavily, because I feel like there is some times where it's good, because the main plot right now is that she's supposed to take out 2 things, 2 threats. I'm about to add one more side one that I think is going to fix. There's not much to do. In fact, one of them was supposed to be that, but it's not getting anywhere, where she has to take care of the giants in the land, because the giants, the whole point is it's an island. That's the whole quest, or the whole plot to the story, is there's an island. It's kind of like how the Pilgrims did to the Indians for the Americas, or the Native Americans specifically. God, don't cancel me. I fucking swear, it was one slip up. Don't cancel me. Anyways, Native Americans, Pilgrims, come take the land, and then just live there. So people on the island did that to the giants, and then now, a couple years later, the giants are coming back. And then on the other hand, there's a lich, which is the actual main problem, that is trying to take over the island. Or he did before, or tried to before, and then got sealed away, and then he's back. And being an even bigger douchebag than before. So that's the whole point of the plot, is for Misty to single-handedly take out a lich, who is not going to be working alone, definitely has basically the equivalent of Mordor in his back. This is why, again, a few people. Because she can do it. She's probably going to be able to do it pretty easily. But I even have to give her a couple NPCs. Like, if she wanted to do it solo, I would let her. But I definitely asked her, hey, do you want some help? And she said, yeah, that would be probably really good. And I can only give a little bit bare minimum. She's a paladin and a barbarian. She's playing a sorcerer, I believe. A gnome sorcerer. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting when that happens. And she's like level 7 right now. I put her in Barrier Peaks. That was my answer for a bit. Barrier fucking Peaks. If you know what Barrier Peaks are. the Barrier Peaks is a fun module from Gygax days. Uh, the problem with that is I did not read Barrier Peaks before running Barrier Peaks, so I ended up going way over my head. And I was thinking I could just read it, like, I read it a little bit ahead of time, but I realized immediately, the book is also a little bit complicated to read. It's the Goodman Games edition. It's not a bad book, it has everything you need, but I just don't get the formatting that well personally. I'm just not good at, like, reading it, honestly. So I was in super over my head, and I can't even find where the book says how much gold you get from the damn adventure. She's over with it. She's done. She finished it. And no, she didn't finish it because we only get like 10 minutes to play every time we do, and it's like every 3 days. So we ended up forgetting what we did last time, and then it just got super boring because Barrier Peaks is fucking huge. And even has more you can throw in if you want. Do not run Barrier Peaks for less than 2 people, because I think it could be ran for up to 8. Or 10, I think is even said in the book. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. That it is a mistake. I will do it again maybe for a group of 4 one day or a group of 6. I want to run it for my friends, but I need to like read the book front to back like 6 times before I do anything like that again. And she just got out of that, so I'm probably going to end up throwing a lot of... I think kobolds. I've been reading a lot on kobolds. I feel like I can get pretty far with those. So giants and then occasional kobolds. But by the way, she made friends. She's doing really good, though. I want to point this out again. She's doing good for what she's doing. She's managed to actually straight up convince the giants to help with the lich problem. Like, it's kind of that thing where it's like, hey, we know you're taking your land back, but the people that took it actually aren't even the biggest problem, because they're going to die, sure, but then there's going to be a bigger asshole if you don't follow his terms and conditions, which could potentially be worse. They haven't been approached by him yet, but it still could potentially be worse. So help us take that out before you kill everyone. And then you might not have any problems when you guys try and take over. And the giants were like, you're right. So yeah, they're like actually helping her. She genuinely thought of this. She thought of this all herself, and I was like, oh, that's not how I expected you to go with it. I was expecting you to basically roleplay Attack on Titan, because that's one of her favorite mangas. So, and animes, I want to point out. She watches it originally through anime, and then has been buying a lot of mangas for it recently, or been trying to. So that's why I added the giants in there, because I really wanted her to have fun. I kind of add a little bit of homebrew stuff in it for, like, equipment that she can bring in. She doesn't have EDM gear or anything, but I was going to throw that in maybe eventually, but the missions to go fight them are very much like going out to kill some titans and stuff. It's just like, go out, kill the giant creatures, and come back. And she's a gnome, so like she's short compared to them. So like that's the kind of vibe I was trying to give off of. Like I also gave like a ranking system to the Giant Slayers Club thing. You get like actual benefits for it and stuff. I don't know. It's not exactly Attack on Titan, but it's pretty interesting. And then the Lich is just, again, a dick. There's like a whole... I added a new homebrew item. It actually showed up in Hindering Spirits as like a little nod, because I didn't want to just use it only at the one for Misty's. Excuse me. And it's basically anywhere the Lich points on a map. So, and this technically has no range. It's a busted item, but obviously you're only going to do the planet you're on, and probably the continent you're on. Maybe other continents, though. Who knows? That's the point. It's an OP item for a level 20 encounter, so it's meant to be an OP thing. And you can't technically use it unless you're a Lich, so... You know, I'm not a big fan of if a boss has something, or if a villain has something, the players can't use it. I'm not a big fan of that, so there needs to be a written out reason to why they can't use it, if they can't. You know, like I'll stat anything a boss has. They're not just going to say, oh, you just have a fancy ring that can stop time. No, I have to mechanically write that out, because then a player kills them and then the ring just is used. There's one way I found by solving that, and that's just give a lot of newer magic items sometimes, occasionally, that I don't want the players having. Just will disintegrate upon the user dying, which I'm going to make that a common thing. I'm going to make that like a not a curse, well, for people who don't want it a curse, kind of like the Minecraft vanishing curse, but I mean like an enchant, like they can enchant it to do so. Like villains will start doing this, like from a guy. Maybe I'll even make that guy a boss, like just who will start using really overpowered shit. Maybe he'll just be a guy that villains just hire to help make sure people don't try and take their shit because there'd be no point anyways. I don't know. That's definitely being used now. Thanks, random Twitch people and YouTube people for helping me come up with this, actually, because I mean, if I wouldn't have been streaming, I wouldn't have actually taken the time to think about that. But anyways, so he points on a map, and then that place will start raining. Okay, you're with me so far on that. So it starts raining, everything's cool, until the dead start rising. So anywhere in that area, and it technically doesn't have an area, by the way, it's literally just you point, and it's the clouds will circumference the entire area you are meaning to point at. There's no like cloud radius, circumference, anything. Circumference, would you be using that? Like, it doesn't say how many miles, it just says whatever area you point at. So whatever area you basically describe will be rained on, and then any dead body that water touches will rise up as a zombie or a skeleton, respectively, depending on how far they've decayed. Any. No saves. There's no saves to make. It's a dead body. It's an object. Yes, dead bodies are classified as objects, by the way. Mending. If you kill something... Okay, so let's say someone's missing an arm, and you don't have a spell to... Somehow, for some reason, if you don't have a spell to actually put the arm back together, but you do have a spell that revives them, and you have mending. Kill them. Mend the corpse. Yes, this works. Bodies are objects. This works. And then revive the person, and then they will have access to that arm. Or limb. Whatever limb it is. So, fun fact about that. Yeah. Anything dead is considered, or detached, is considered an object. Now, if the person's alive, the reason I had to specify mending doesn't work with anything. Like, by the way, I'm not sure if mending actually lets you work on anything certain that big or that complex, because yes, human bodies and bodies in general are super complex. But still, like, if anything alive doesn't count as an object usually, unless it's like a sentient object in D&D. So like, you have to, if you're doing like work, like as it's written, if you can bullshit enough, you'll basically get your desired outcome. But so it just rises the dead of any size, any race, any type. The dead will immediately rise, and they serve you immediately too. Like, they will walk to your location. They're psychically connected. Actually, they're not psychically connected to you. They just know where you are and will head to you immediately. That's the thing. That's like the one downside. They have to get to you before you can order them to do anything. But they will fight anyone around when they wake up if they stop them. They will stop, or if anyone tries stopping the dead from walking away, they will immediately start fighting whoever is there and around. That's what's so powerful about it. So you'll have like 6 armies walking up to you from miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away. And then when they get there, you can just tell them to go somewhere else and do whatever you need it to be done. And that's what that villain's doing right now in that campaign. That's what she's trying to stop. So, not to rain on her parade, but she's going to have to do it very soon. Otherwise, a lot of problems are going to try biting her in the ass. Literally, on both jokes. I like that jokes. I like being fun with puns. Puns are fun. I'm lonely. Anyways, there was something else I was going to say. Oh, there's also a thing, because I homebrewed Lich. I homebrewed Lich a little bit. For one, having a player option to actually maintain it, which Minsk and Boo's new book immediately made a way to do it as I was homebrewing it, and I hate it. Because it's pretty much an implied kind of thing on how to get it. It's never really been stated flat out how to do it until Minsk and Boo showed up. However, they always leave a little bit out. They always leave something out. It's always still a little bit vague. I homebrewed because of this. I homebrewed an entire actual method to doing it. And I added a few things too, which technically don't make sense, but it's also implied that liches can do it. Like, one, it's implied liches can be patrons. Directly implied. But what isn't ever said in D&D source is like, hey, how much is used from a phylactery? It's just said it's used for spells and to keep them alive. Or undead, whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? It keeps them formed and able to respawn at will. Which, now thinking about it, respawning doesn't drain anything from that. I might go back and fix that. Actually, no, it'll be fine. It lets them reform into their body. Point is, I made it to where you can allow people to access your phylactery as well. At no cost to your phylactery, by the way. No cost. It just means you're gaining power. And they can even surpass you potentially, because Warlocks can go to level 20 as well, and then potentially even be stronger. So, but hey, there's no other fucking rules for it out there, so I end up just having to use it. Or if someone else has made it, yes, I'm sure someone's made a Lich patron. In fact, there's an Undead patron even in D&D Source. But I mean, like, a player character can be a patron as well. And that's, I feel like that's so weird. From how I did it. And that's supposed to be like that, because I'm planning to actually use this as a character for another campaign, and even use that orb, because the second part of it is I also added an altar system. So people that are warlocks, and even your own warlocks, which this kind of is weird because you're kind of making power out of nowhere, but here's where I'm going with this, is these altars can be used for either souls. Actually, I don't even think they can be used for souls. Think about it. They might be able to. You pour spell slots into it. So for every spell slot poured into it, you pour a level 1 spell slot, and then it's immediately put into your phylactery, and you can the Lich can use a level 1 spell slot. If you use a level 3, there. Same way for soul conversion rate. So let's go challenge rating. You kill a challenge rating 1/2. That's half a spell slot. You can't use that, so you gotta wait until you get enough to equivalent to 1. Sure, that might be a little bit broken and busted, but I mean, especially if you kill like a Tarrasque, because then you gotta divvy them up into like 9s and 8s and stuff. But I thought that was kind of cool. I always thought that was just like a neat little thing. I'm gonna actually check right now on if the altars let you do sacrifices, because I don't remember, and it wouldn't make sense if they can't, but also I just feel like that's such a specific thing. Give me a minute. Oh no, they let you do souls. Huh. Yeah, no, they let you do souls and spells. I'm glad I remembered that, because that totally seemed like an oversight I did without double checking. I think I'm playing Minecraft for a bit. Nah, I won't. I'll go back to Trove. I know I just closed it, but man, it was actually kind of fun just roaming around doing what I was doing. Plus, I forgot to sell the bits I did gather while I was doing that. But yeah, so they can just technically yes, it's kind of broken to where you can just basically point at a guy and say, hey, you're allowed in the phylactery. Oh, and then now you're gonna make magic out of nowhere, and then you're actually able to pour it into the phylactery to make. It's like putting a battery in something that makes batteries, and takes no charge from the battery, though. You know what I mean? Just like pushing a button, the battery drains nothing at all. You just had to put the battery there at first, and the person that just gains that power can just add more to that battery, and there's no drainage. Sure, that might seem like there should be a nerf put in place, but like I said, I don't know. Another thing I did, I'm not really sharing that document out, because another thing I did was I'm using it's a note document. It's not a like fully fleshed out document. It's just, I mean, it has a note on everything specific for the procedures and stuff for becoming one and actually being one. But I went to different source books that I had access to. So, like I said, the Minsk and Boot one, or ones like there's a book called the Corpus Malicious. I don't remember who made it, but my friend Leon showed it to me, and I copied and pasted some of the items that liches use into that notes document. And it would, if I tried uploading that anywhere, it would be, well, it'd be wrong, because I wouldn't be passing it as my own work, but it would still be wrong to put something that would be a paid thing on the internet that isn't mine, even if it's in a notes document. You know, it's like playing a song right now in stream that I didn't make. Even if I'm not saying I didn't make it, I'm still using it without the owner's permission. 1 and 2, you know what I mean. That's another reason I prefer home games more than or non-streamed home games specifically, rather than streamed ones, because I've straight up homebrewed an entire, now before someone shouts they've made a Dragon Ball Z RPG, I know and I don't care. The way I do things whenever I homebrew stuff is because I'm usually trying to improve something that's lacking on something, or I feel like it's lacking on something. So, like, let's say a new transformation comes out in Heroes. That board game ain't gonna have it, or that board game may be from like the 90s, so it only has up to like Super Saiyan 3 or 4 maybe even. So I homebrewed an entire system, like every race, literally every race I can think of that they've shown. Now I'm gonna be very specific here. Ones that actually matter. Now, like the half. Well, no, there is a human variant for like the people that are half animal. Never mind. I even went that specific. I mean, there's no different bonuses. I mean, but you know what I mean. Like that was included. Just because I was trying to be super specific. Let's see what else there are. I basically I went ahead and built off D&D 5e, and then used it to make a system for a Dragon Ball campaign. And we are like 10 sessions in. Yeah, and I don't have to worry about pissing anyone off due to copyright. I don't have to worry about anyone at all, because it's just a home game, and I'm just sitting here enjoying myself, and so are the 6 players that are in it. So, 2 are dead right now. Since there's Otherworld, I don't actually have to worry about player deaths. One of them was, and I'm not using any characters that are from Dragon Ball. I made my own story for it all, and there's even a way for people to make their own techniques and stuff. So I'm gonna say for characters, I'm gonna say equivalent. So like a equivalent to Frieza. So I'll say Frieza equivalent or Cell equivalent. So Ethan is a player character. He plays Ratok and Enduring Spirits. He's one of the player characters who's died already, and he was blasted in one attack at like level 9. I think they're at level 9. No, they was like level 7 then. In one attack was killed by the Cell equivalent. And just vaporized. And it was unexpected. It was like out of nowhere. No one expected it coming. And he died and then went to the other world and met all like the King Kai equivalent, who's basically Beetlejuice. I loved that. I gave him that kind of personality. I didn't want it just be straight King Kai. And then other things like that. The other player character, it was complicated. I won't go into much detail on that one, on the whole death, but they're probably going to be revived soon too, both of them, so it's fine. Considering, also like small minor changes to do. Like there's only 4 Earth Dragon Balls because the newest chapters said Planet Serial only had 2. So if you can have a plane with 2, you can definitely have a plane with 4. So I changed it to only 4. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I basically combined the hold on, bug. Damn, I thought it's like the same bug. It's like a fly that keeps coming around here, and it's like in the screen or in the way of the screen. Anyways, or it's a gnat. It's not a fly. It's like a gnat. I don't know why, but what was I saying? I can basically like combine the characters like Kami, Piccolo, and Korin together, and it's just some old Namekian named Banji, and it's like named after a banjo. He's named Banji, and he grows senzu beans in a cave. He's instead of the like guardian of Earth, he's just the protector of the forest, and he basically just and the plot with him is that he has another half named Harp, and that he's the evil split from him, so they had to take care of him without killing the good Namekian named Banji, you know. So that was the whole plot point, and how they ended up having to do it was they had to do it super weird, because they also still had to help Harp out too, because if they would have wished for... Okay, so they were super old and they were going to die in 2 weeks. Because Namekians can accurately predict their lifespan eventually. That's actually shown by Guru and Namek. But anyways, so he knew he was going to die in like 2 weeks. So they were like, hey, let's get the Dragon Balls and wish for youth. They end up wishing for eternal youth, because never wish for immortality. Like, if you don't plan on getting in fights, never wish for immortality, and I'll tell you why. You'd have to get the Dragon Balls to ever die. Now, eternal youth, again, if you're not planning on fighting, you just can, like, die at any time you really want to. I mean, you're not going to die to anything like old age. You just get to live until the point where you just really don't want to. Sure, it's a little morbid, because you gotta off yourself, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm pretty sure that's a way preferred method, you know, like, you die when you want to. I feel like that'd actually be a lot more comforting for literally everyone on this planet if they had that option, you know. But anyways, they had to do that, because they were like, hey, why do I have to die anyways? Why not just wish for this? But they did it for both of them. That fly just flew in my mouth. Anyways, they did it for both of them, because if they didn't do it for the other one's just going to die and then kill the other one. You know what I mean? Because that's how Namekians work. It's if one dies, both will die, because they're split. There's 2 halves make a whole. So they had to make both of them eternally youthful. But the whole thing is that they ended up evil containment waving. They basically did use a little bit of original Dragon Ball for handling them the same way, but it's fine because every villain since then has been killed with Frieza's Supernova Death Ball. Every single one of them. There's not a single villain that has not been taken out with that move, or at least. Okay, wait, that's a lie. The first one used it on them, and then they learned it. They learned it from him, I think. Or no, if they didn't learn it from him, they knew it, a variation of it from someone else. Point is, they killed him normally, but then they fought a Majin, which Tucker... Do you remember that thing I mentioned with magic, to where he will... You know, you remember what I mentioned. So, Tucker's idea to kill this Majin at very early levels, and they probably should have fought it at, was use the multiform technique, basically Shadow Clone Jutsu if you've ever seen Naruto, where they split into 9 different variations of himself. Okay, we're good, right? We're following through. 9 Death Balls. 2, because they knew they'd have to disintegrate the Majin to kill him. 9 Death Balls. Because he had enough ki to do it. Sure. I made it very clear, by the way, that yes, you can break the game if you want. Just don't, though. Don't be a dick about it. And he wasn't a dick, by the way. The Majin survived with over half health, like I said. That was actually probably the safest option. But it's just like, why did you have to do that, you know? Why? And it's also another problem, because everyone's resulting using the goddamn multiform technique because of the way it's statted. Like, the only reason I introduced it is because one player would not shut the fuck up about wanting it. He would not shut up. And whenever other people saw him using it, they were like, hey, can we learn that too? And it's totally a thing in Dragon Ball where if you see a move, you can just learn it. Not instantly, there's a whole training method for it, but they've had like 2 in-game months since knowing it, so they've been able to work on it. But it's just everyone results to either multiform or Death Ball. But that player character was killed by Death Ball. Multiform Death Ball. Do you get where I'm going here with this? You guys following along? All I'm going to say, and I know they're not going to see this before it happens, because it happens tomorrow, if they do anything with it, and it's been 2 hours on this stream, is, so Cell, right? He can copy moves by seeing them. That is a thing he's been shown. Or, well, not really, but here's how I'm going to rule it. The Cell equivalent knows multiform, and that's who's still alive, by the way. And she's actually been I made her a girl, but diverging from that, she's actually shown to not be a complete asshole. So they don't need to go. And yes, I know I said Ethan was killed by her, but it's been kind of a redemption arc kind of thing. Or if they investigate it, they'll figure that out. They literally talked to her for a moment. She just flew off because she was chill. So I have a feeling Tucker's going to try doing multiform Death Ball. She knows both multiform and Death Ball as well. In fact, she's shown them she knows multiform. She knows Death Ball because the people that she was encoded from, or the genetics from, knows Death Ball. Because that's the way Cell works too. Boo is the one that can see from sight. Point is, oh, and if they ever find that Majin again, he immediately knows what he's going to do. But, all I'm saying is, I'm just waiting for someone, preferably Tucker, because Jack is also spamming Death Ball. He's not doing multiform, though. He's the one that's mainly been spamming the Death Ball. I'm waiting. Tucker, if you see this, I called it. In fact, 2 hours and 5 minutes in, basically, I'm calling this. You are gonna fuck up. Or it's not really gonna be a fuck up, but you're gonna do it. You're gonna try it. You'll probably even win, but I know you're gonna do it. I feel like it. You're gonna do it. And if it's to prove a point of, hey guys, look what I can do. I can break the game. Peasant Railgun is a thing in 3.5 or 3rd edition D&D. That doesn't mean your DM wants you to do it, though. And it's not the DM's fault. Yeah, sure, I did write multiform. I did write multiform in a potentially abusable way. Same thing with, I guess, Death Ball, which, no, it's not actually that big of an abusable thing either. But it's mainly the problem is multiform. The things that are breakable in any video game and unintentionally breakable by the devs part. Just because they are does not mean they want you to. Now, I'm totally in favor of using it if it's possible. I'm not really as much whenever you're trying to kind of provide a story based kind of thing, because it's a heavily story thing. Like, there's a whole like plot thing. I have a whole document that is thousands of fucking words long just from this campaign alone. I don't like that method and that kind of thing, because it's not really an experience that like thousands and thousands of people are playing. It's a grind. You got to grind up all the money, yeah, and stuff like that, and all the experience. No, it's not that. It's like, hey, take the time, progress slowly, get things accomplished and actually feel good about it at the end of the day. That's how I kind of want it. There was a time where Tucker was specifically, and I'm going to call Tucker out on this, he was kind of heavily like, hey, oh, it was Zenkai's. It was Zenkai's with Saiyans. Oh, hey, I figured out a way with a person that can help me regen my health to basically do about 40 of those a day. And this is that thing where Saiyans can drop to basically about where they're gonna die, and they'll come back stronger. So how I wrote that is, if you go down and you're rolling death saves in D&D, you get back up and add your con modifier to your max health. Well, they have like a +8 con modifier, or +6, I don't remember, +4. Still, Tucker's like, oh hey, I found a way to do this like 60 times a day, and I'm 100% going to do that unless you change it. Even though literally everyone agrees I shouldn't do it, it's just because I can. And I'm like, yeah, I know you can, but if you do this, like, I'm literally like, I just told you, I'm even warning. I know he ain't gonna see this, but I'm warning people. I'm gonna make the villains do the exact same goddamn thing. And there are things I just don't expect people to actually go through and do it like that way. I could set a cap to make it a few times a day. Like, I totally should do that. The only problem is I don't do it is because there's a huge ass document I have to go edit, and I've already saved it to like 2 different computers. I've sent it to, like, I have people that have it downloaded already, and I don't want to go, hey, that document, that specific one, because there's already like 30 documents for this whole thing. Can you update this specific one to make sure this has changed? And here's the thing, I've gotten literally everyone else to say, like, hey, yeah, I know this is abusable, but I won't abuse it. And everyone already has known that. And Tucker took like a 3-week break, and then when he comes back and actually looked into it, he's like, oh, hey, this shit's breakable. I'm going to break it. And I'm like, well, no, literally everyone else agrees. Don't do that. And I get it. Yes, it's still technically all my fault. Before anyone jumps, like, you can jump in and defend him here. I totally can see that. But, like, it's that kind of thing. It's just like, can you not, bro? Tucker's not a bad guy, by the way. If this sounds like I'm trashing him, he's not. He's not. It's just, I really don't. Just that one thing. Just don't do that. Just don't. Like, and I'm not just gonna. I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna be like, okay, well now I'm gonna send like a whole, like, just because, like, I'm not gonna sacrifice like story example. Like, is what I was gonna say. Like, I'm not just gonna go, okay, so now that you're doing it, I'm gonna have every villain only target you just to get you dead. That way we don't have to worry about this problem anymore. That's not what I did. It's not what I'm gonna do. However, I will have, because the cell equivalent specifically watched him do this to the Majin equivalent. By the way, that's how they met her being nice. Which they killed the Majin before the cell, which the Majin's way stronger than Cell. So that's what I'm worried about. She watched him do it. 9 of him deathball him. So that's literally the only reason. If he cannot, I'm getting this on recording. If it happens that way, it is not because he did it to someone else and I'm getting revenge. She watched him do it. So I'm not the kind of guy who's just going to have every villain target him. I'm just saying, I'm calling it, he's going to be the one that's going to go try and fight her, even though she's all reformed. Because he literally did this to Nethril, if you've ever seen Hindering Spirits. He was kind of like trying to reform. He even kind of like invited everyone to eat. And then Tucker still tried to get him to die. Oh, and then he tried killing himself. Or no, to kill Tucker, specifically. Just to be done with it. He did like a self-destruct attack, and it didn't kill Tucker. Technically, it didn't kill him either, because he ended up in the Dragon Ball campaign as a reminder to Tucker. Just don't. Just lay off a bit and relax. But, oh, and for some reason Tucker wants to go get him from a different campaign. in Hindering Spirits. That happened in the most recent episode. Oh boy. It's not going to work out the way he thinks it is. That's all I'm going to say. On that part, I mean. Because I don't feel like trying to make that campaign separate from all the other ones. Besides that one thing I've always said. There was one thing that is from another one, and it was him. Because it was supposed to be a reminder to take things chill. Just sit back a little bit, man. Just chill out a little bit. Step back. Don't go into guns blazing. Because he's the only one I didn't expect to try doing it through that. He's done a little bit better, though. And I still think the 9 death balls was okay to do, honestly. Because the Majin survived again at above half health. Like 30 above max health, or half health, I mean. From 9... I need to give a reference. Death ball does like 3d10 per hit. 3d10. So that's 30 damage at most, without modifiers. So like without the +8 that's on each of his attacks. And you get to make a save against it to take half damage per time you're hit by it. It did like 200 damage. That's a lot for a creature to take in D&D. So, and he still lived after that. He didn't even like... So I'm totally fine with what he did there, actually, with that one. But the Zenkai spam thing, I don't like. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't feel like I don't really want to go into it more. It's just like a mini rant. I don't know. It's just, again, one more time. I'm going to bring it up. I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to. If everyone else agrees, hey, let's not do it that way. And we have a good reason why. It's because we really feel like it sacrifices from the rest of everything else. Like, you can do it a few times. Like, I'm not saying he just couldn't just, shoot himself in the chest and get back up. But doing it 60 times per day... I get it as it's written. Yes, they can actually do that. He can do that and then get back up and technically heal himself with other methods. And do it over and over and over again. Because of an oversight. That's why I'm so thorough whenever I homebrew things. Is because of fucking things like that. It's because, yeah, you can totally exploit that. However, everyone's agreed, hey, let's just take it nice and easy and not, because I'm scaling enemies based around all of them. And if he really wants to fuck that up for everyone else, he should keep going, 100%, just to prove his little point and ruin something I'm trying to make really fun. I'm going to put it out like that. I really am. Like, seriously, I'm trying to make it just a fun little thing. Now, Ethan's character dying instantly, I would like to mention, 1, we talked about it beforehand, a little bit, the idea of him dying, and he actually was kind of cool with it. Spoiler alert, I don't think anyone from my group is going to watch this video. Ethan wanted to die. He asked me, can he be killed? So yes, I let him. By doing it in a way that made plot interesting. Oh, and 2, Tucker killed that other main character. Or that other main character that died? Yeah, Tucker killed him with Death Ball. Or Jack killed him with Death Ball because Tucker wanted him dead because he tried multiforming the guy to death and it didn't work. Because he would have just regenerated until completely disintegrated. To prove a point. That's all I'm saying. I'm leaving it there. I've gotten my point across. It was a different point. For him. I mean, for him wanting to kill him. So, I mean, don't judge him for that, but it also, like, don't, like, without context, there's enough context there. However, I'm going to say, you don't need to prove a point. I just want a fun little engaging story. And I don't want to have to make it the opposite of that. Because we want to go breaking things. But that's where I'm going to leave that whole debacle chat. I have now realized I'm to the point where when I logged into Trove, I zoned out, like, whenever I did that earlier again, and I completely forgot I was supposed to sell those things. I'm still playing it, but I'm wandering around doing absolutely nothing to actually accomplish anything. I'm not, like, actually focused on doing anything. I'm not, what's the word I want to use? I'm not maintaining a good train of thought to, like, actually focus on what I'm trying to do in game. And that's fine by me. I'm not, like, doing anything difficult. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the club world, because we have a little club. And and then I'm going to sell these things in the marketplace, and I might go ahead and stream here, honestly. I think it's been a fun little stream. Talked about a few things. I think it was neat. I want to do this more often. Now, hopefully I want to get a couple viewers in, actually. Like I said, I still have that one. I have no clue who that is. They have not really been talking in chat, but if you're watching, thank you. Chat is not required to hear this random guy rant for 2 hours. It's not, but I thank you. You know, whoever you might be. In fact, even the mystery of that, I enjoy that. You know, I made it very clear. The lesser I know someone, the more easier I feel like it is to rant. You know, sometimes it's easier to talk to people when you know them more, but I feel like right now what I'm talking about is like what I'm doing currently right now. And even if I had like 6 people I knew sitting here watching this too, I don't care. Like, I'd be fine with that. I'm just saying, like, thank you, whoever you are, if you're watching this still. I'm going to go ahead and sell these things and then wrap up some thoughts and then get going, but let's see. Oh god, controller drift, don't screw me out now. Oh, I got 578 now, instead of the 300 I had earlier. I remembered I was supposed to get them, I didn't remember I was supposed to sell them. Alright, let's get that in the marketplace. But yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube and somehow you've made it this far, because I definitely don't expect anyone to, should I do this more often? Should I just sit back, chillax, talk about whatever's on my mind for a little bit, you know, and just get it out there? Does anyone disagree with that? Does anyone dislike that idea? You know? Would you tune in even just to have it in as background music? Or not music, background, just noise. I've been told by people, like, people have walked up to me that I know and said, hey, I want your videos to be a little longer. Like, is this what some of you might be talking about? Like, is this the kind of thing you'd be okay with seeing, just to have it on in the background? Like, I get it. I totally get, no matter what videos I make, there's still some people who just have it on in the background, no matter what content it is, and not actually pay attention to it. I don't care. If that's what you want to use it for, that's what you can use it for, you know? There's a YouTuber I legitimately watch just because he has a soothing voice. I know some people who watch him just because they help him sleep, or he helps them sleep. Which means they're probably not really focusing much on the content he's actually talking about, but I watch him for the content. It's Lazy Masquerade. He does a lot of readings for, like, spooky ghost stuff and conspiracy theories. The stuff I went and got is already starting to sell. That's good. But, another one that's been rising up recently, he's got about 900k subs now. It's Wendigoon. That's the guy's name. He's doing pretty good. Pretty sure he's a guy in college and he's been making videos. He started out at the beginning of this year with like 2,000 and now he's at 900k. He did like those iceberg videos, if you know what an iceberg video is, where like they'll go into details about stuff. I thought he was doing pretty good for a bit. Actually, no, I think he's still doing good. Like, again, he just uploaded his last episode about it really recently, and it's going really cool, actually. I hope to see a lot more, like, interesting things that he makes. I put his videos on for background noise a lot, and not for a negative way either. I actually like paying attention to what he's talking about. In fact, I'm gonna see if he uploaded. I know he probably hasn't uploaded today. He's probably taking a break, considering he just uploaded, like, the ending to the biggest series he's had since he started. And that actually was the one that he started with, you know? So, I don't know, he's probably taking a bit of a break, but I'm gonna go check anyways. I know the Lazy Masquerade guy ended up uploading something on my birthday. I was pretty excited about that. He uploaded, like, a compilation of stuff he did, or, like, mysteries and unsolved mysteries and cases that, like, it's a 2-hour-long video. I only got about halfway through with it. I wonder if he's done anything new since then. Because a lot of the stuff I had already heard, but it's been so long. Because he doesn't upload very, like, often, because they're pretty longer videos. But a lot of it was to the point where I didn't even remember a lot of them. That it was like rewatching it and watching it all new for the first time, and that's not a bad thing. I like things with rewatch value, and sometimes rewatch value because you just don't remember a lot of what was in it isn't that bad either, depending on what it is. You know, I thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see. I only need to sell one more, and then I can get going. Or, well, I need to only put it on the marketplace. This isn't really selling them. This is just putting them up on a public marketplace for people to buy. That's why I said, oh, it just sold. It's because someone literally just at that moment went ahead and, like, saw it and then bought it. or one of them anyways, not of the, I think I have 9 in total, 9 listings. Yeah, 9 listings. So I just gotta wait until someone buys it. That could be now, like it just happened, or not like just now. I mean like when it did, or it can be a day. It could be, who knows. It literally is a player-driven market, so it's a little weird. But anyways, now that I've done all that, I can pretty much get wrapped up here. So I want to thank anyone who might have tuned into this whole bullshit. The one viewer I still have, no clue who you are, but thank you. It's totally fine. And if anyone watches this on YouTube, hey, leave your thoughts about anything I say in the comments below. I'll read them. I don't get enough to where they'll get drowned out, so I'll see it. And I would love to have an engaging conversation with all of you. So I'm going to get going. You all have a good day or night, depending what time of day or night it is when you watch this. Or see this, if you do. Thank you. Bye-bye.